out this Saturday night, so hopefully you're enjoying it wherever you're watching it. Chris Griffin joined by, of course, our expert analyst. He's going to have all the winners here, Paul Verderosa. We've got a great lineup here for you tonight. A jam-packed card that's going to be happening at the Meadowlands. Jessica Ott and Gabe Pruitt, they're going to join us in a minute, but Paul Verderosa, welcome to you. And it's going to be our last time together in 2025, so really looking forward to this final show covering our harness action, but really looking forward to a jam-packed, huge card there at the Meadowlands.
No Breeders' Crown hangover tonight, my friends. We've got a lot of the stars that you saw a couple of weeks ago on the show battle it out for the really big money. Well, they're back tonight for some serious money tonight. We're talking close to $2.7 million worth of purses tonight. Good way to go out if you can get some of that to end your season.
Really looking forward to those big purses and big races, and here is that lineup here tonight. It's called the Fall Final Four, so looking forward to some great pacing action, some trotting action, but we got the Open Mares Pace Championship, of course, Goldsmith Maid, and the list goes on and on, but you're going to see some big names that are going to be lined up, and they're going to be pacing and trotting here tonight, and the first one, of course, is Luadepa.
You know, it's funny, you look at Luadepa, and she is just head and shoulders better than this entire group. Faster, stronger, and just better. And it doesn't matter where you put her. It doesn't matter what post position she has. You could probably give her post position 20 tonight. I just think that she is going to be 1 to 9 probably in this spot and just wave the horse to beat. You watch her run and you watch her come down the stretch so strong. And you just see how she just levels off, and watch her ears and watch her demeanor and watch her head. She is just so much better than this group. She's a superstar right now. And you don't want to throw that word around, you know, too easily, because sometimes we do. But with the season she's having and the way she's just dominated without really having to be asked at all, makes her special.
Trained by the Hall of Fame trainer and the sport's leading trainer, of course, in Ron Burke. Ronnie Wren Jr. is going to have the driving duties. That's going to be race number 8 that we get Luadepa. We'll see if she does continue on, but she's going to prove very tough. She's 9 to 5 on the morning line. Might come down just a touch off of that 9 to 5 morning line price. Going to be in the 10 post tonight, though. What do you think of that?
I think, like I said, you could put her in the 20 hole and she would be fine against this group. You know, she's just smarter and she's tactical and she's handy, and where you put her, she's just stronger and better than the group she's been facing all year.
That's going to be race number 8 a little bit later on. Some great pacing, trotting action. Of course, we can't do it just the two of us. We've got to send it over to the Meadowlands because they look like they're having a great time already. Jessica Ott and Gabe Pruitt, we've enjoyed it so far. We've got a great night ahead for the viewers and the bettors.
We sure do. A great night of racing on tap. But you said it was nice outside. I don't know if you can see it now. It's starting to rain behind us, Gabe, which is going to put a damper on some things, but still nonetheless a nice night on tap.
No, I predict weather worse than I predict horses, Jess, but it looks like it's going to be brief heavy rain, guys. So we've got just some system moving through, so we're hoping it's going to clear out shortly, but absolutely a fantastic card here. We've got 7 races live on the show tonight, 6 grade 1s and a grade 2 we're going to kick it off with. It just doesn't get any better than that. It's our last show of the year, our last major stakes card of the year, but it's really one of the best cards of the entire season.
It really is. They talked about how sharp Luadepa is. That one comes from the Ron Burke barn, of course. What about Lexus Cody? I was talking to you a little bit earlier on. If harness racing had an MVP award to go to, I'd have to give it to Lexus Cody for his campaign this season, Gabe. Racing in the beginning of the year and against Open and Preferred Company, he took the $1 million Yonkers International Trot. He went on quite the winning streak there. He missed the Breeders' Crown, but Burke, of course, said, I think it's a perfect spot for him tonight. Yannick can do whatever he wants. Trip didn't work out in the Breeders' Crown, but he still raced well. And there he is in that Yonkers International Trot.
Yeah, you see him just hold sway there at the inside. Drew post 1 over the half-mile track over Yonkers. Good starting slot for him there, and he did cash in, Jess. What about the 7-year-old season for Lexus Cody? He had 20 starts at the age of 6, made a couple $100,000. So he was a nice trotter. This year he's had 20 starts in the night, over $1.1 million this year alone for Lexus Cody. So it's sort of a light bulb on type season. He's looking to bounce back after that, disappointing start, I guess, in the Breeders' Crown. He raced well, had a tough trip. He finished 3rd, but we'll see. Brianna's likely going to be aggressive with him at this spot tonight.
Yeah, nice middle pack post from post 6. Lots of horses, lots of good horses in that race, of course, Gabe. They've conducted a 10-horse field. You've got the Breeders' Crown champion coming back. French Rindu is outside, and Periculum, who also just missed in that final.
It is an ultra-deep group, Jess, but I do think Lexus Cody just headlines that field. But he is the horse to beat. I think if everything is on the square there, could be a shootout into that opening turn. But I do think we'll see aggressive tactics back tonight.
Yeah, there's been a couple of different races on the card so far tonight. One from off the pace, one from right on the front end. So I'll be curious to see how the races shape up now, especially with the heavy rain coming in. But the track here is great, and I would expect it to be nothing less than great.
Yeah, we see some wind gusts as well. So as we do as handicappers, we'll keep our eyes on any sort of track bias out there. Wind gusts up to 20 miles per hour. Heavy rain. But the good news is, guys, we're nice and warm here in the studio as of now.
Thanks so much, guys. Really looking forward to it. Plenty going on at the Meadowlands. How can you get involved? Of course, you go to Naira Bets. You can bet any track, anywhere, anytime with Naira Bets. Sign up today and get that $200 deposit match bonus with promo code BONUS200. Enjoy betting on over 300 tracks around the world and start winning today. You can join right now at NairaBets.com. Speaking of Naira Bets, jump on in. Here on FS2, we're going to race number 5. We've got $175,000 is the purse, and we got a field of 8 in here. Mickey and Minnie taking a lot of the early action at 3 to 5 to 2 with Dexter Dunn.
Cool little matchup here between two Breeders' Crown winners in Mickey and Minnie, and also Always Be Naughty. And Mickey and Minnie is going to step up here and face Older in this spot, but I kind of expected her to be an underlay in this spot tonight, and right now she's at 3 to 5. And what do you want, though? Because, I mean, she's just crushed the 3-year-old filly pacing division this year when she's faced them. And in this race, in the Breeders' Crown, I mean, ultimately she dead heated in this spot, but she still raced well and had enough at the end to, you know, just hang on for that dead heat position. But she's taken a lot of heat in some of her starts. But I think in this spot, we'll see how she's going to do against older horses.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing some of those further efforts. And another one that she will have to contend with in there is, you just talked about her, Always Be Naughty.
Yeah, Breeders' Crown winner in her own right as well. And heads-up drive in here, too, by Austin Hanners at the end of the day. You know, bringing her home on the front end. It was a new stakes record time. The track was fast up there at Woodbine Mohawk. She was sharp going into the race, and honestly, she kind of dominated it rather easily. So with the splits that were out there, you knew that they weren't going to pick her up late in that spot. You know, she's always been a class type. She's always shown class. And she took advantage of a big chance in this spot. You know, Twinbee Joe Fresh ended up having to be scratched in this spot. Sylvia Hanover didn't show up. You know, so she's razor sharp right now. And she's got one big last dance this season to get that win, to get some money in here. So happy for the connections in that spot to get it done. So I think it's a cool little matchup here with the 3-year-old Mickey and Minnie for Team Chris Ryder, who won this race last year with Twinbee Joe Fresh, and also Always Be Naughty.
Post-parade time here, race number 5. It is a Grade 2. It's open mares getting set to go here in the 5th at the Meadowlands. The 1 is going to be a big long shot in here, 30 to 1 right now. You're going to see some prices throughout the evening, but maybe we'll see one get home. This is Stone Cold Treachery.
We'll see. He's been facing a lot lesser. Lauren Triton's up there, and we'll see what we get out of this horse at a big price.
Yeah, trained by Juan Cano, and of course Lauren Tritton. She's kind of made some noise here when she's been getting the driving duties, and she's been able to get a few winners home, and has really, you know, the pink wheels, you start to recognize them after a while.
Yeah, Lauren's done a great job, and you know, she's won 3 races on a card. She's won 4 races on a card, and she's been picking up more catch drives for other barns, so she's been able to show her talent off.
All right, here is the favorite, 4 to 5, Dexter Dunn, Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, I figured she was going to be the favorite in this spot. We'll see what she does against her elders.
And the 3 is going to be Kobe's Gigi. That's Yannick Gingras.
You know, she's got her swagger back to her in the last couple of starts. She might surprise a few people and run well in here tonight at 7 to 1. It's good to see her back on her game as she's been the last 2.
Number 4 coming up here, 17 to 1. Talk Curdy to me.
Yeah, just hasn't won in a while. 3 for 25 on the season so far.
And coming up is going to be kind of the main threat, I guess you could say, here to Mickey and Minnie, as far as the odds are saying 2 to 1 right now. That is Always Be Naughty.
We'll see if they're going to be aggressive with her like they were in the Breeders' Crown. Speed's been her calling lately, so hopefully she will show it like she did in the Breeders' Crown. She got to the top, too, pretty quick in that open after the half.
24 to 1. There was a 6 that just went by.
Yeah, one last time against non-winners of 12,000, so it was a lesser condition there.
And the 7 right next door at 10 to 1.
Won an invitational last time out over at Yonkers. Draws post 7 tonight.
And they call him the money man. Scott Zeron, he's going to have to do it here. 28 to 1. Turn the page.
You know, been racing against much lesser over at Yonkers. Is posted on the far outside tonight. But you never can count out Scotty Zeron. We seem to bring up some prices on these shows.
Look at that. We got 2 favorites here, kind of bouncing back and forth between the 2 and the 5. Paul Verderosa. First selection of the night. Let's start off with the winner. Who do you like?
I'm going to go with Always Be Naughty in here. It's nothing against Mickey and Minnie. I just feel like Always Be Naughty will probably be in front of this one early. Maybe she'll be able to hold her off. And I'm hoping for a nice little stretch battle in this spot. I also thought that Always Be Naughty would be a better price of the 2 in this spot because you know, a lot of people see just what Mickey and Minnie has done this year to the 3-year-old Philly division, Pacers, and a lot of ones in that column.
And you feel like that sways you a little bit more than the performance side? Is it more the performance side, or just that, you know, these are pretty evenly matched mares a little bit in this spot, and I feel like I want a better price?
I'd like a little bit better price, and I'm just hoping, like I said, first time against Elders, and a little tougher breeder crown race for Minnie and Mickey, although she came back and qualified well. It was a light and easy qualifier for her. Same can be said as well for Always Be Naughty, who came home in 152 in that spot. So I just think Always Be Naughty is just really fresh right now and just in really sharp form, and hopefully we'll be in front here early on.
Very good. You got 9 to 5 right now on Always Be Naughty. Gabe Pruitt, Jessica Otten, your first selections for the night, and I do see it says good now up on our video monitors.
Yeah, 4 to 5 on the lone 3-year-old in the race, Gabe. She's going to have her work cut out for her in here because there's a couple of nice mares to her outside. Always Be Naughty. She's riding that 3-race win streak, of course, coming off of that win in the Breeders' Crown Final where she was sharp. And, you know, with Twin B Joe Fresh being scratched, Sylvia Hanover not being on her A game, she really benefited off of that.
Yeah, a month back, we would think this was going to be another rematch with Twin B Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover. But that's not the case. Both sidelined. Of course, Sylvia Hanover now retired. But she's the now horse, Jess. I think late in the year. It's been a long season for many of these horses. They've been racing, you know, for instance, the 5 Always Be Naughty. She's had 22 starts this year, but they've raced since, you know, the spring at this point. So I think a lot of times late in the year, it's about the now horse. Who's sharp right now? To me, I'm like Paul. That's the 5 Always Be Naughty. But she headlines this coming off a major statement win by over 5 lengths in the Breeders' Crown. So I think she's really one that's peaking at the right time. I'm a little shocked. I actually thought that she could be the favorite over the 2 Mickey and Betty, who continues to take a lot of steam. Only once in the history of these Open Championships has a 3-year-old stepped up to beat older horses. Now, that was her stablemate, Twin B Joe Fresh, a couple of years back with Twin B sideline trainer Chris Ryder opted to just take a shot here with a 3-year-old filly against some of these older mares. Typically in harness racing, we see 2-year-olds race against 2-year-olds, then the 3-year-olds race against only 3. They don't really start to race older horses until their 4-year-old season, but this is the one lone shot here. So it'll be the first time Mickey and Betty see some of these older mares. I thought the public would trend towards the older, more seasoned veterans, for instance, the 5 Always Be Naughty, but right now still odds on here on Mickey and Betty.
Yeah, I agree with you. I kind of figured she would be the favorite. There's still time to wager, obviously, but I figured she'd open up. Just coming off of that strong win in the Breeders' Crown, I'm with you, too. I think horses, I'm a firm believer in horses know when they visit the winner's circle, and once they start to get their confidence back into themselves, as she has in the last couple of starts, you continue to race well, and now you're getting 3 to 2 on her. Horse who are inside, Dave Maneri training. We'll see a horse by the name of Irvin Hanover come out of his barn later tonight. Talk Curdy to me. Now, she's going to add Lasix for the first time. She's a 5-year-old. Usually you see, you know, horsemen add Lasix maybe earlier on in their career, but this one's 5. She was second in the Fillies and Mares Open behind a couple of nice mares, 2, 3, and 4 back. She hasn't faced stakes company since that Dayton Derby in the 27th of September where she picked up a 5th place hit finish, of course, behind Twin B Joe Fresh and Sylvia Hanover.
Yeah, I just think adding Lasix tonight, obviously they're trying to clean something up. I think we could see an improved performance from the 4 Talk Harder to be, Jess. I think a live long shot in this spot.
Yeah, for sure. And championship race coming up for those open mare pacers. Back to the studio.
Thanks so much, guys. Hey, we moved to a good track. You like Always Be Naughty. You're sticking with that good track. Is that going to change anything? Something to keep an eye on throughout the night?
Yeah, definitely keep an eye for any biases between that and the win that Gabe said was going on over there.
All right, ready to kick things off on this fantastic night of great racing. We're looking forward to it. It's the Open Mares Pace Championship, $175,000, and Ken Workington at the Meadowlands with the call.
And they're off. Always Be Naughty's out fast on the outside with a Sweet Peach here. And Kobe's GG, Mickey and Minnie, and Stone Cold Treachery on the rail. Darts out for Lauren Trenton, takes the lead. Stone Cold Treachery with early speed. Darts clear by 2. So Kobe's GG and Yannick Gingras going to grab the pocket spot for now. Mickey and Minnie is 3rd. And it's a headstrong Kobe's GG going for the lead here. Past the opening quarter. Always Be Naughty is 4th. And then it's Talk Curdy to me on the inside, 5th with a Sweet Peach here. And then we have Artie, B, Mickey, and Turn the Page. Torrid Fraction 26 and 3 on a track rated good. Across the backstretch, Kobe's GG still trying to clear and just does. But going after her now, Mickey and Minnie, the filly. Takes aim for Dexter Dunn and brushes up to the top, and Always Be Naughty's on the move up in hot pursuit of her. Third on the outside, Stone Cold Treachery already shoveled back to fourth on the inside, past the half. Then it's Talk Curdy to Me, fifth. On the outside of Sweet Beach here, stride for stride with Artie B. Mickey, and turn the page. The half was 55 seconds. So Mickey and Minnie squaring off with Always Be Naughty on the outside. These two stride for stride with Kobe's GG in the pocket spot. And Talk Curdy to Me is lurking second over on the outside. Stone Cold Treachery is pinned in fifth. A Sweet Beach here, third over, and fans to the outside. Mickey and Minnie at 3 to 5. Always Be Naughty pours it on. 1:23.1 into the stretch. And Mickey and Minnie, wow, she just took off. Mickey and Minnie gave them the cold shoulder here. A distant second, Talk Curdy to Me is going to rally. Then Kobe's Gigi, Mickey and Minnie. Wow, what a performance in the FanDuel final. She crushes the older mares over Talk Curdy to Me. Artie B. Mickey and Kobe's Gigi in 1:49.2.
Tremendous performance there. It's Dexter Dunn, it's Chris Ryder. They team up. Mickey and Minnie. The favorite does get the job done there in race number 5. Gabe Pruitt, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was, a dominant effort to Chris. Mickey and Minnie made the lead. She had to work hard to make the lead there. It looked like the three Kobe's Gigi was just a little bit headstrong to release her to the top. And the key thing is here, once she made the lead, she got immediate pressure in the form of Always Be Naughty. So this was a hard-earned victory here and a well-deserved win. You saw down the stretch, she was just much the best here. For the second time in these Open Championships, a 3-year-old has stepped up to beat older, and she didn't beat them. She crushed here tonight. This was an eye-opening performance. A good way to end her 3-year-old campaign and a good start as she'll race some of these older mares moving forward next season at the age of 4.
And you did see Mickey and Minnie get the job done. Looked like 2-4. What was that on the number there, Paul? Quite see that number. We'll get that for you. Yeah, it was a little bit of a tough to see. I'm a track announcer. I should be able to figure that out.
Yeah, really.
Paul, based off of this performance here, Mickey and Minnie, it does seem like as we get towards the end of the year, we start seeing these championships, it's time to just let loose and let's see everything that's left in the tank.
Oh, yeah, and listen, I had said it when she was trying to clear that. I was like, oh, my God, it's turning into the Breeders' Crown again where it's taking her a while to clear off. But, boy, she did, and it did not matter that it was older today. She's just better, man. She just ran so well. So not only did she crush the 3-year-old filly pacers, she crushed some older ones and some good ones here. So next season there'll be a little catch-up to be played if she comes back strong.
Yeah, the older company might be looking at her saying, oh my goodness, now we got a 3-year-old and she's going to be getting older. We still got to face her. She's going to be very tough. Mickey and Minnie, Dexter Dunn, Chris Ryder teaming up there. Had to work there. You did see, it sounded like in Ken Workington's call as well, that Stone Cold Treachery showed a little bit of speed. Kind of surprised him a little bit from a tactic standpoint, who's going to send and who's going to go and who's going to just say, let's just try and go. We're 75 to 1. Let's try to just try something a little outside of the box.
It's funny that Lauren Triton sent. But she did have the pole position. She did have that rail position. A couple starts back at Pocono, this horse went 26 and 54, albeit it's a 5/8 track, but against much lesser anyway. But best way to win in their mind was to go. So when they got to the backstretch, though, things changed a little bit as Kobe's Gigi brushed, and then Mickey and Minnie got up there as well. First over, so big effort for this team and this team that won it last year.
Let's go right to Jessica Ott.
Thanks, guys. Winning driver Dexter Dunn. Dex, I don't know if you know this or not, but only 2 3-year-old fillies have ever won this race. Twinbee Joe Fresh and Mickey and Minnie.
Yeah, it just shows you how lucky I've been to sit behind the fillies I have, Jess. I'd sit behind some just absolutely champion 3-year-old fillies, and this girl's just putting herself right up the top of the list.
It's not easy to take on older horses at the age of 3. Let's talk about that trip tonight. You let the dust settle there a little bit in the first turn, but there was plenty of movement up the backside.
Yeah, we had a good draw, Jess. We sort of wanted to get out hard enough, and the first quarter was strong, then it sort of backed off, and she's a bit of work to get to the front of this girl, but once she gets there, she's good, and we made our move, and she grabbed the bridle around the last turn. She was travelling so strong.
A bit of rain just come through the area, obviously, about 20 minutes ago or so. Track seems to still be good. Talk to me about that last quarter of a mile with her.
Yeah, the track's actually tightened up pretty good, and it's if we don't get any more, we'll be okay for the rest of the night, which is I think all participants are hoping for. But like I said, she was travelling so good off the last turn, and I called on her at the top of the straight, and without urging her too much, she sprinted off good, and Yeah, like I said, she's just an incredible filly, Jess, really is.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Mickey and Minnie and Dexter Dunn team up to beat the Open Mares in that championship final. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much. Jess Otten there with winning driver Dexter Dunn, who may not be done with his winning on the evening. But when you see top connections like this, they seem to get the job done. And Mickey and Minnie, she was just a dominant performer here tonight.
Yeah, that was a super effort for her to most likely close out her year. And Chris Ryder's got another good one for next season.
Looking forward to it. We'll see where Mickey Minnie does go into the next year. But we're going to talk about a Breeders' Crown winner. Champion? Yeah, of course, Warwi Michelle. We'll see how she did a little bit earlier on the card tonight. Come on back. We'll take a look at it. Warwi Michelle here on America's Day at the Races.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races here on FS2. As you just saw, Mickey and Minnie, the favorite, get the job done there for the Open Mares. The 3-year-old tackling older mares this evening, getting the job done. $175,000 purse at 3-5. Talk Curdy to Me was a big long shot, was trying to take us down to Upset City, but Talk Curdy to Me did not quite get there. And Artie B. Mickey closing out a trifecta that came back actually okay at 3-5 on top.
Yeah, not bad with your 3-5 favorite on top. They probably could have ran around one more time, and they probably were not going to catch Mickey and Minnie.
Mickey and Minnie very strong, continuing and ending her 3-year-old campaign, right? She's pretty done at this point, and we'll see her into 2026. The Goldsmith Maid is coming up. We've got 11 going in here. $462,000 is the purse, so plenty of money on hand in this race coming up. It's a trot, it's 1 mile, and the number 9 Nezuko Kamado, Scott Zero on the money man, could be pretty tough in here.
Yeah, coming out of a Breeders' Crown effort, that just was not, a solid effort for this horse. But this horse did have an excuse, was parked, and just really didn't have much of a shot that night. Comes back here. This is definitely some class relief in this spot for this horse. We'll see if he can get the job done in here. It's a pretty wide open group, though.
Yeah, looking forward to that sixth race coming up. Here it's going to be a 1 mile trot with big money on the line. Once again, $462,000. Going to take a look at some action from earlier tonight. We know the result, but Warwi Michelle, she was the headliner going into this race. And what did you take from it? We saw it earlier, and we're highlighting right now MM's Dream.
Well, listen, you know, MM's Dream was well rated in this spot and kind of put them to bed. Did get helped, though, when the favorite Alyssa Hanover game calling was parked early and eventually and ultimately broke stride in that spot. So made MM's Dream a little bit easier, was able to be, as I said, well rated. In the stretch, was able to find another gear, put them to bed, trotted home to the wire well. Paid a nice price, too, if you had this horse, too, at $14.80. And you can't count anything coming from the Ron Burke Brigade, because here's another Ron Burke horse getting the job done and just padding his win stats and his earnings for the year.
Yeah, she won the Open Mares Trot Championship earlier tonight, and again, that was Yannick Gingras with the driving duties there with Ron Burke as they got the job done impressively. A $14 winner. You don't catch that very often, right?
Yeah, Alyssa Hanover took quite a bit of money in that spot, and she was parked, and she just went off stride, so she kind of you know, lost her gate there, but she'll be back to battle again next time out. I love when we get this group together, because they have been battling it out all season long, and they just exchange, you know, wins throughout the year. It's basically whoever's the hottest and whoever gets the good trip.
Yeah, it's always why you got to follow us all year long, of course, our great bettors and audience out there, because you recognize these names and you watch them all throughout the season. We're going to take a look back at another horse that's looking back to get the winning ways back. Come on back here on FS2, America's Day at the Races. We're going to talk about Nezuko Kamado.
Ever dreamed of owning a racehorse? Well, now you can for free. Introducing freeracehorse.com, where you get a real share in a real racehorse at no cost. Be part of the action. Get VIP access to training, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and experience the thrill of the race like never before. Sign up now at freeracehorse.com and claim your free ownership share today. Don't just watch the race. Own it.
Champions are made on the racetrack, but many of them are born, raised, and developed at farms right here in New Jersey. New Jersey is home to nearly 100,000 acres devoted to the horse industry, and harness racing's breeding and training facilities play a vital role in protecting open space and supporting agriculture throughout the Garden State. With the state's ongoing recognition of the importance and value of the standardbred industry, New Jersey will remain a place where champions are made. To learn more, visit sboanj.com.
Joviality's trying to rev up as well, but it's Miss Wallner fashion by 2. But here comes Venerable on the outside. She is relentless. And Joviality on the outside with a flurry of trot with a white knight. It's Joviality who blows by Venerable. Joviality, a sterling rally to take the Goldsmith Maid. It's Joviality over Venerable.
There was Venerable winning the 2021, or excuse me, Joviality winning the 2021 Goldsmith Maid. Get names confused once in a while. Ken Workin, I was listening to that call not closely enough, clearly. Joviality getting the job done. Marcus Melander, and he's got one in tonight in Nezuko Kamado, so he's got a big shot as well.
Yeah, Joviality was a cool horse, man. Like, she always had that late burst to trot, and she'd come and she'd bring it, so it was solid as they come, and nice effort for her. And yeah, Marcus Melander's always loaded, you know, in this division. And the cool thing about Marcus is he doesn't rush his horses. You know, so if they're not ready earlier in the year, he'll just wait on them, and he'll wait till they tell him that they're ready, and usually then he'll have some good ones as we get towards the end of the season.
All right, we'll see what is going to come up in race number 6. It's grade 1. It's for the 2-year-old fillies, and our own Jessica Otten had a chance to catch up with that man, the trainer, Marcus Melander.
Thanks, guys. I have trainer Marcus Melander. Busy night ahead of you, Marcus, so I'm only going to ask you about a couple of them. Let's talk about Nezuko Kamado, of course. I really think she's hit her best stride since coming to the bigger tracks. What have your impressions been on her 2-year-old season?
Oh, for sure. You know, it was probably my bad, you know, keeping her in the New York circuit there. But, you know, you learn from your mistake, right? So, but she had a great last month and a half here, so hopefully she can finish up good tonight.
She had a tough trip in that Breeders' Crown final. What were your impressions on that race, and how has she been the last couple of weeks heading into tonight's race?
She got a little excited there when Scotty had to take her 3 wide on the backside there, and she wanted to race, and it was way too hot fractions, but she still managed to get third, and, you know, she held on very long, so very happy with her performance that night.
And Periculum, he was just a narrow loss in that Breeders' Crown final as well. He qualified well last week in preparation for this week's race. How has he been the last couple of weeks?
Oh, good. You know, it's not. He's a little sharper when he get, you know, at a race in the week before or some qualifier or something like that. So we qualified him. He looked good, and you know, he showed all year that he, you know, race. You know, he's one of the best ones in this group. So I think he'll be there tonight again.
And the Breeders' Crown champ, Spencer Hanover. What's been, you know, what's gotten into him the last month or so? Because he's really hit his best stride here as well.
Yeah, he just figured out. You know, he's been lazy all year, and he just woke up one morning and understand what this was all about. So, yeah, that's the big thing.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
There was Jessica Otten there talking to trainer Marcus Melander and looking at Nezuko Kamado. He liked that effort in the Breeders' Crown. What did you think, Paul?
Well, listen, I'm sure being parked in the Breeders' Crown for half a mile kind of took its toll because, I mean, listen, she made the top and she was just trotting right along and tried to open up some separation, which is what you always want to do, you know, at the end of the day, try and get away from the field. But she got a little tired late. Wasn't the most ideal trip for her, but she ran well in the context of the fact that she made that move and was able to open up and get separation. She ended up third in there. So all in all, again, not a bad effort considering the trip. Maybe draw a line through it if you're a handicapper, and you could just say, hey, listen, it just wasn't her night with the way that she ran that way. But it's definitely softer competition tonight for sure. I guess the only question you're going to have is post 9 for her. But there's just a couple of Oka Swanstead horses, too, that I think are going to have a say in here. But this is definitely a lighter assignment than the Breeders' Crown.
Yeah, we're taking a look at a big field coming up here. Big money, of course, as we pointed out, $462,000. So looking forward to this next effort. And here's another contender in there, a couple of them, Busy Miss Lissy and All-Time Trot.
Yeah, stablemates in here. Busy Miss Lizzie got a really nice spot early on. Last out kind of popped first over. Got a little cover briefly when All-Time Trot popped, but she was able to wear down her stablemate in there after a nice stretch battle. Listen, she's 6 for 8. No, she's drawn outside in here, but there's no major killers in here unless you believe Nezuko Kamado is going to come back strong. I love All-Time Trot. I love the race that she ran in this spot. I mean, you know, use a Southern expression, bless her heart, because she did everything right, but win last out. She squeezed out when she needed to. She took the lead with some separation, and then she got picked off by her stablemate late. So Team Sponstead always comes loaded. He's got 3 in this spot, and I think 2 of them have a real chance in All-Time Trot and Busy Miss Lizzie.
And taking a look at that interview that Jessica Otten just did with trainer Marcus Melander, you know, he talked about the real hot fractions in the Breeders' Crown. Do you see the race setting up that way? Do you see that the tempo or that early speed is going to be there? Maybe not at the Breeders' Crown level type, but are we going to see a pretty hot pace here?
We'll see how tight the track got, and we'll see what the intention is with a couple of the runners in here. I mean, I don't think they're going to be blazing out there as they were for Breeders' Crown, but you never know, you know, until they leave. We saw what happened last race, right?
Sure.
You know, we thought it was going to be a little softer flow for the 2 favorites in there, and as it turned out, you know, Always Be Naughty was sitting 4th, you know, when a couple of levers went on the inside, so you just never know. I would think that it would not be as chaotic or as hectic as the Breeders' Crown, and she won't have to make that same kind of move, but you never know.
Is there a horse that if they do have that real hot pace, that real hot tempo, and of course we got a post-parade coming up in just a moment, but is there kind of that upsetter, somebody that could really pop up and you could see really surprised at a price if they get the right setup?
I'll tell you what right now, man. Ron Burke's going hot. We know that. The number 5 Atlantic Summer is a horse who won the Doherty this year, and I know she just hasn't been able to kind of follow up that kind of race. but I would not dismiss her. I wouldn't dismiss anything that comes from the Ron Burke barn in here, and with the right setup, she might show up with a huge effort tonight.
Yeah, really looking forward to these 2-year-old fillies that are going to go in the Grade 1 Goldsmith Maid, of course, and we've got 11 choices that are going to go in there, and so when you have that big purse of $462,000, you know that you're going to see plenty of contenders show up.
Well, I think what's great about it, Chris, is that they're actually running. You know, when you look at the fields in here and you get a horse like Nezuko Kamado, who just ran in the Breeders' Crown and had a tough trip, may have, you know, ran tough and may have taken a little bit out of her, but she's right back to play for the big money, so she's ready to go in here. You got horses that are up and coming in here, too. You know, like Busy Miss Lizzie and All Time Trot from the Swanstead barn. You got a horse like Atlantic Summer, who won the Doherty this year. So, you know, it's good when you can get a group of horses together and a big field like this for big money.
And we don't always see 11, right? We don't always see 11.
No, not all the time.
All right, post-parade time. Here is the one. Taking a look at 12-1 right now. That's going to be Jody Jamieson on our road.
It's going to be a long shot in here, but I know my grandmother would play this horse because her name is Rosalie. We call her Ro. So
she'd be getting 12-1.
She'd be getting 12-1. I guarantee you, she's sitting there right now watching, going, I would bet that horse.
All right, I like it. 46-1 coming up here, the number 2. That's going to be Barry Good News.
3 for 15 this year. I think this is a big step up for this horse in this spot, going out for the R. Nifty Norman stable.
Big long shot, 46-1.
Yeah.
Gotta love prices like that, huh? Big prices. The 3 coming up, and that's going to be Yannick Gingras. That's All-Time Trot.
Yeah, my top pick in here. She's also taking some money in this spot. I think she just ran so well, even in those 3 defeats that she's got.
By the sire, Goo Goo Gaga. Here's the
Good
4.
horse.
That's the 3. The 4, big price, 58-1.
Yeah, it's been a long shot and just won for 11 this season.
The 5 is Atlantic Summer.
This is a horse that I think can rebound in here. She won the Doherty this year. I think she just needs a setup. She hasn't been able to replicate it, but tonight might be the night.
Aki Svanstead, you talked about the 6 at 9-1.
Yeah, he's going to drive. This one was 4th last time out. This is a step up.
Tim Tetrick and Nancy Tactor, they team up with the 7, Madame Cheval.
Just beating a length and a half and coming out of a common race as Isabella Bay.
Jonathan Ollie's going to have the driving duties here. Aki Svanstead, that's Busy Miss Lizzie.
Jonathan Ollie's done a great job with this horse the 2 times that he's been up.
2-1 right now. Scott Zeron, Nezuko Kamado.
I think named after the anime fictional character. I'd have to find out if that's true or not.
Big anime guy. I like that. Respect and Honor, the 10 at 34-1.
Draws outside. I think that's the only problem for this horse because this horse was running into Naked and Famous, who was absolutely killing it in the Kentucky Sire Stakes division.
And here is the 11. That's Hartford 2, Todd McCarthy.
Going to start from the 2nd tier and got a win last time out over at Dover. Took down a $110,000 purse in one of the matron races.
A good track, a big full field of 11, $462,000. And of course, Jessica Otten, Gabe Pruitt, your thoughts here on this upcoming 6th race, the Grade 1 Goldsmith Maid.
Well, it looks like the money is spread out just a little bit here, Gabe, with this overflow field of 11. And we've got horses coming about just from about everywhere. I want to ask you about Busy Miss Lizzie. We recently saw her on the show a couple of weeks ago, winning that kindergarten final, Gabe. You talk about the Now horse. Now, she's sharp, but she hasn't quite had to face the best of the best yet.
No, she really has. She started off her career just 4 for 4. Then a couple of losses. She was 2nd and 3rd, and since has gone back on track here and won 2 in a row, including that 6-figure kindergarten final you alluded to. Young Jonathan Ali, the driver on Busy Miss Lizzie, 28 years old. This is the biggest drive of his career tonight, $462,000 on the line. He started as an amateur driver 4 or 5 years ago, just sort of doing it as a hobby. They are not paid when they're amateurs. They will race maybe once a week. He really, did very well. So he's turned into a professional at this point. He's got a big assignment here with Busy Miss Lizzie, one of the logical contenders.
I guess you could say, too, we talked about it on that show a couple of weeks ago, where the kindergarten series is for horses that maybe just need, a couple of extra starts in their season to really get them going. And that could be the perfect case here for this daughter of Calgary Games.
Yeah, it really could. The difference is a little bit of a tricky assignment here from Post 8. The big field here is we've got a trailer. Post 11 is going to start, in behind the first tier. So, he's going to have his work cut out for him. Does he lead? Does he try and get some position? That's going to be key. Last time when he won the kindergarten final, had Post 1, so we got away 4th there, comfortably close enough. So I think, it's all going to be about position here. It's going to be tough to come from far back. So I think, he's going to have a decision to make once those wings fold.
This does kick off that pick 4 sequence here, Gabe. I don't really think there's a hardcore single in this race. How many did you use?
Well, I am 6 deep. here,
wow.
Jess. So you'll see that my ticket there on the monitor. How about this, a $15 play? We're going to put that in, and we'll hit the repeat button a couple of times on that. 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. I did think you particularly we put a couple of the logical contenders here in outside posts, that being the 8 and 9, that we could see a little chaos here. So I'm hoping to snatch maybe a little of a long shot. I absolutely love 2 singles in the middle of this. Irvin Hanover, who is probably going to be the favorite in race 7. I don't think a heavy favorite. You've got Luadepa, who everyone in the building is singling tonight. She's going to be 1 to 9. And then in the 9th race here, the final leg of it, going to go 5 deep there, 2, 3, 4, 9, and 10. I thought that was an interesting race. I think Fragment, the 4, will be the favorite, but I thought he could be a little overbet in that spot. I actually like the 10 you brewed quite a bit. I think that's a race that's going to see a lot of early action. So a spread here in the opening leg of the Pick 4, at a spread to close out the Pick 4, but I'm banking on those 2 singles, Jess, in between.
I like both of those singles in the middle legs of this sequence here, Gabe. No Bojangles, so I think that you're going to need to use a couple in that last leg as well. Back to this race here, Gabe. Nezuko Kamado, of course, that was the Breeders' Crown favorite a couple of weeks ago at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Tough trip. You know, when you're parked past a half and 55-1 as a 2-year-old trotting filly, it's just hard to sustain that bid. She trotted in 52-4. She just got beat. Marcus said, you know, she was just a little too hot for Scotty. And with an outside post here tonight and an overflow field of 11, he's going to have his work cut out for him, and he's vying for favoritism at 2-1.
You know, Jess, I think if Nezuko Kamado, who, by the way, is named after a fictional Demon Slayer character, had drawn inside, I think you'd get half the price. I think she'd be the even money favorite. So you are getting maybe just a tick better on the odds board because she's got this tricky starting spot. And she typically likes to come from off the pace. She did rough it there, the Breeders' Crown. 3 wide for a bit, as Marcus Melander, the trader, discussed with you in that back paddock interview. And how about Marcus Melander? It seems like he's been around forever, just 33 years old. He's done such a tremendous job. He was the trainer of the year, the youngest ever at 27 years old. That was way back in 2019. He just continues to produce good horses, good trotters year in and year out. He's got another one here with this filly, Nezuko Kamado, but Scotty's here out. He's going to have to find the right trip here. I think the early speed that she displayed, the Breeders' Crown, may have caught up to her late. Ultimately, I think he'd like to get away somewhere mid-pack, maybe get a trip and sort of be close enough to strike, turning for home.
Yeah, never hurts to have the money man when the big money's on the line. They're going to have to work through post 9. Nezuko Kamado, 2-1 right now. We'll send it back to New York.
Thank you very much, guys. Taking a look at this field as we are getting ready for this 6th race. It's a 1-mile trot. It's $462,000. It's 2-year-old fillies. I've learned more about anime in the last 10 seconds about my co-workers. Last thoughts here before this grade 1.
I'm going with the 3 all-time trot in here. I think she's going to put it all together and get the job done tonight, get that second-itis out of the way.
All right, it's a big one coming up here, $462,000. Jonathan Ollie, his biggest race ever. Lots going on here. It's race number 6, and it is Ken Workington at the Meadowlands with the call of the Goldsmith Maid.
Fillies are off and trotting. Isabella B's out fast on the outside with Madame Cheval. And there goes All-Time Trot into the first turn. And cutting the corner, Very Good News. Very Good News. And sweeping up on the outside comes Madame Cheval. And she goes off stride. So our row 4th on the inside. Busy Miss Lizzie goes up on the outside from 5th. She is tracked by Nezuko Kamado. Early shuffle for Heart for 2 on the inside. Next comes Amidala Hanover near the rear of the field with Atlantic Summer, and then Respect and Honor. And way back, that early breaker was Madame Cheval, 11th and last, 27-4. 2 wide across the backstretch. All-Time Trot and Jingrad taking over. All-Time Trot. Here comes Busy Miss Lizzie and Jonathan Ali. So Isabella B already back to 3rd on the inside. Very Good News tracking 4th. Our row to the outside 5th. She's tracked by Nezuko Kamado. Shooting through on the inside, Amidala Hanover at the rear of the field with Heart for 2, stride for stride there with Respect and Honor. And then it's Atlantic Summer. And the trot past the half at 57-1. Busy Miss Lizzie now has the tactical advantage over All-Time Trot, who stalks from 2nd with 3/8 to go. Shooting up there is Our Row. Our Row now 3rd and threatening. So locked in is Isabella B, 4th on the inside. And Nezuko Kamado is 2nd over, 4.5-5 from the lead. But Busy Miss Lizzie is getting busy at 3/4 in 126-1 into the stretch drive. Busy Miss Lizzie by 2 lengths. And angling out all-time Trot and Gingras on the outside. And Isabella B on the inside, third to the wire. Busy Miss Lizzie, all-time Trot getting to her. And late Trot from on the outside, Nezuko Kamado, all-time Trot and Gingras. All-time Trot then close. Nezuko Kamado, then Busy Miss Lizzie, and Isabella B, 154.
Aki Svanstedt gets it done there, the training duties, and Yannick Gingras, of course, the number 3 all-time Trot, gets it done. Really, really nice trip and is able to get the victory there in the Grade 1 2-year-old fillies in the Goldsmith Maid.
I love what this horse is all about. She's really a nice horse. She takes her cues well. She's gotten so much smarter, and you know, today she was able to sit pocket for a bit, then take to the top, and then, you know, she was able to just dig in and hold them off. I think Nezuko Kamado, by the way, ran one hell of a race because she was parked quite a bit of that mile, and I thought at the top of the stretch she was done, and she still trotted home well to finish second in there.
Gabe Pruitt, Jessica Otten, trackside. Your thoughts there? All-time Trot gets it done.
Yeah, I think just an absolute perfect drive here from Yannick Gingras, guys. We talked about it before the start of the race. He had the post edge over some of the other live contenders here with that more of an inside draw, post 3. He got out of there, got some position. Busy Miss Lizzie, the 8, had to work very hard to make the lead. Yannick got to sit on her back, as Paul said, just a very tough trip from post 9 for Nezuko Kamado. So a perfect trip, parlayed into a nice victory here. All-time Trot. She was a second to her stablemate, Busy Miss Lizzie, in the kindergarten final just a couple of weeks back. She turns the tables on her tonight. She pulls the 3-1 minor upset here, her third win in 7 seasonal tries.
3-1, a minor upset there. You hear from Gabe Pruitt, all-time Trot. Got a much, much better trip than Nezuko Kamado. Nezuko Kamado just really a tough mile, but really a great mile that she was able to trot there. But all-time Trot, Yannick Gingras, when you talk about a perfect drive, that's kind of how you draw it up.
Sure, and she's posted better, as Gabe said, than some of her other rivals in here. But to be fair, you know, she did everything right last time out except win the race when she got picked off late by her own stablemate and Busy Miss Lizzie. This time, she was able to get to the top, and, you know, they went 27-4 in that first quarter. It wasn't all that taxing for her to be able to sit there and then be able to get to the top. So nice effort in here. I'm happy for her because I like her. I really do. I think she's going to be a neat little horse next season.
It did seem like the horses that were up front, they were pretty comfortable as they were moving around the track there, and they were pretty well settled. And then, you know, it came down to some of the closers and some of that outer flow. We'll find out. Plenty more. Jessica Otten with Yannick Gingras.
What? Thanks, guys. Winning driver, Yannick Gingras. All-time Trot gets the job done here. Not a bad pickup last couple of starts.
Yeah, sure is. She raced tremendous in the kindergarten final. I really liked her. I was just hoping that they would race her tonight, but she got the job done.
Talk about that trip. Overflow field of 11. Of course, you had a good post to work with, but you made a move there up the backside to take your spot at the front and then let the stablemate go.
Yeah, no, I wanted to be not too old, like the worst. You know, I was trying to get her up close where I wouldn't have to make another move in the last turn. I thought what got us beat last time is having to pull the two up the backstretch. I figure I was following a good one. If I made that move there, I could follow a little further, and I think it made a difference.
Looked like she had plenty of Trot coming home. I knew, somewhere Nezuko Kamado was coming from out of, space as she usually does, but this filly had plenty of Trot.
Yeah, she sure did. All credit to her. I knew for sure Scotty would be coming at some point, but mine trotted home really well, and she deserves it.
Nice job.
Thank you so much.
Yannick Gingras, Aki Spahn said they're going to team up with all-time Trot in the Goldsmith Maid. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Yeah, taking a look at all-time Trot headed to the winner's circle. The 2-year-old filly Trot going to Aki Svanstedt, Yannick Gingras teaming up in a Grade 1, $462,000. Not a bad purse to take down here on this. I think it's still a pretty gorgeous Saturday night. There they are coming through the lane. The 3 gets it done. Nezuko Kamado was a fast closing second, and it was Busy Miss Lizzie. Jonathan Ollie, the 8, finishing 3rd. Hey, we've got Luke Print, we got Bojangles. They're going to square off, but in a little different way. It's the Final 4, of course. Top pacing performances of the year. Let's talk about it when we come on back here on America's Day at the Races on FS2.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
Continuing to watch all this great harness racing action, standardbred action. It was a trot that we just saw here on America's Day at the Races on FS2, and there is your winner, all-time trot. Well named winner there, and Nezuko Kamada, fast closing second, picks up the exacta. 3.98. Busy Miss Lissy was doing a lot of the heavy lifting early on in the race, but ended up settling for third. So some decent payouts there. An 840 winner, 3-1 all-time trot.
Yeah, I'll take it. And goes over $300,000 now in career earnings, and setting up to be a potential threat in her 3-year-old season. We'll see how she comes back.
Yeah, if you're going to win one, that's a nice one to win.
Yeah, to
there
go out
with that
for
big
sure.
purse. Race number 7 is coming up. It's an open pace championship. 1 mile will be the distance. $350,000, and again, some very familiar names that we've seen throughout different seasons. I mean, you see some real names that really stand out. But right now, 3 to 5 on the inside. The one, Urban Hanover.
Legitimately, as he blew out that field in the Breeders' Crown with relative ease and in a fast time. So you got 8 of them in here, I believe, that ran in the Breeders' Crown. So they know each other pretty well, and some went on to race in the Potomac, and some are now here as well. So it's a fun little matchup when they all get together.
It'll be kind of an interesting handicapping challenge throughout the evening, too. Coming off the Breeders' Crown, had a little more time off, and now coming into these championships tonight.
Well, you see some horses ran, you know, obviously the week after or the second week after, and now a couple of weeks after, some took some time off. So it'll be interesting to see how those who ran, like the horse on the rail, Irvin Hanover, how he's going to do in that spot. Now, he came back and qualified okay, so seems like all systems go, but you never know until they actually race if any steam was taken out of them, because the qualifiers usually are a little bit easier.
Yeah, I was talking about Final Four a little bit, and we were talking about some championships, some top performances, and kind of emptying the tank here at the end of the season. But it's been a tremendous season, and so we thought top pacing performances of the season. So we've got Bojangles, the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old pace, Blueprint, the North America Cup, Urban Hanover, the Breeders' Crown open pace, and Luadepa, Breeders' Crown 2-year-old filly. So we're going to talk about some of these top pacing performances, and we're going to ask our analysts on which they think ends up being the top pacing performance of the year. Let's start on that left side of the bracket there. Paul Verderosa, Bojangles, the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old pace, and then that Blueprint race, of course, the North America Cup. Which performance to you, as we're going to show Blueprint right now, is kind of showing you more, or maybe just talk about that effort from Blueprint?
Oh, I mean, listen, he destroyed that mile, and he was amazing that night. As a matter of fact, if you think about It's My Show, ran 1:48.1 that night, and Blueprint blew that out of the water in that spot. And to me, Blueprint's the more complete horse with the body of work. I mean, you also have to take in consideration that he missed time this year. He was able to come back from that and still absolutely killed it until we got to Breeders' Crown time, and then we found out he had an issue with his ribs, but he still ran in the event, and we found out afterwards that that's what happened to him with the performance that he had, but I don't hold that against him at all. And I think from a perspective of looking at it all, I think Blueprint stands above that class in some ways.
All right, so Paul Verderosa is going to stand with Blueprint being the top performance that he thought throughout the season for that top pacing performance on the year. Jessica Ott and Gabe Pruitt, your thoughts? I mean, where are you guys going to go? He likes Blueprint in the North America Cup.
I mean, it's hard to go against Blueprint in that spot, Gabe, and the longevity of his 3-year-old season, the traveling he did, the double heat he did, the 46 and change mile he did down in Lexington, but that North America Cup was one special race.
It was just a gutsy performance. You know, holding off Mad Oaks there, the tight photo shows you really just the heart and will to win that Blueprint represents. Obviously, he had a huge season, Jess, and you know, had to overcome adversity with the little minor setback through the summer where he missed some time as well. So, you know, I think when you look at the entire course of the season, you know, big case to be made for Blueprint as Horse of the Year, but a lot of recency bias with the voters out there. He comes off that loss, of course, his poorest performance in the Breeders' Crown Final, so we'll have to see if that affects him with the voters there for the end of the year honors. Speaking
of a huge season, not very often do we see a freshman go 12 for 12 in their campaign. Bojangles, what a beast, a freak, a tank he is. Look at that Breeders' Crown victory, Gabe. A lot of people thought if he was going to lose a race, it would be that Breeders' Crown Final. And he was probably just as strong as he was here as he was in the first start of his season.
This guy is an absolute tank. Look how much larger he is in the horse here closing into the runner-up spot. He looks like a 4-year-old, only 2 years old, 12 for 12. He gets a little criticism, Jess, because he never left Canada. Well, guess what? He didn't have to. 12 for 12. He made over $1.2 million this season in 12 starts. He averaged over 100,000 every time he stepped on the track. I don't think I would have to go far from home as well if that could be the case. And what an incredible season for Bojangles. He really put the exclamation point on his season in the Breeders' Crown. And if it does indeed all come to the down to the Breeders' Crown, as they say, I think I would make Bojangles a slight favorite now in the Horse of the Year honors. We're seeing a lot of steam out there, I think, in the media, social media as well. I think the voters awfully happy with his undefeated season. And, again, he just put a huge exclamation point on it.
You know, Doc Moore talked about retiring maybe at the end of the season. I saw him at the Harrisburg sale. He bought about 10 of them. So I don't think he's going to be retiring anytime soon. Of course, I'm excited to see Bojangles back on the track for his 3-year-old season, guys.
So it sounds like maybe we've got a little bit, the set out there at Meadowlands, they felt like Bojangles might have been the top pacing performance of the year, and we think that Blueprint might have been the top pacing performance of the year.
Yeah, solid horse, Bojangles. I'm not going to take anything away from him. You finish your year 12 for 12. You can't knock that. That's perfection right there. You can't help the fields you ran against. And, I mean, you can't help the fact your connections kept you in Canada, too. I love talking to him more. I had a chance to talk to him over at the Meadowlands, so he knows I'm not, like, completely just dumping on him there. But, listen, he's going to stay around. Believe me. He's got a horse like Bojangles, and it's just that he bought horses. He's not going anywhere. He says that a lot. I'm sure that he's going to retire and enjoy life and fly around. He's a good pilot,
It sounds
too.
like it's a tie. It's 2-2 on the top pacing performance of the year. This is going to be like the Horse of the Year selections as well.
Yeah, what have you done for me lately? Group against the people that should have sane heads about them and look at the whole season.
They're all top performers. Hey, we got some more top performers coming up. Oh, but Pace Championship, it's next. America's Day at the Races.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest priced horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Whether you maintain a food plot on the weekends, tend to a small herd of livestock, or work in professional landscaping, New Holland's family of Workmaster and Boomer compact tractors at Clinton Tractor can get the job done. Known for delivering outstanding value for their performance, these reliable, powerful, and easy to operate New Holland compact tractors will help you tackle your to-do list while being easy on your wallet.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. You see Meadowlands there, East Rutherford, New Jersey, as we're getting closer to this 7th race coming up, $350,000. The 1, Irvin Hanover at 3 to 5. The 2, Oakwood Arden. James McDonald's got the driving duties, and our own Gabe Pruitt had a chance to catch up with that driver, James McDonald.
Thanks so much, guys, standing by with James McDonald. First off, James, congratulations. Well-traveled here of late, fresh off winning the World Driving Championship. That had to be special representing Canada once again.
Yeah, it was amazing, Gabe. We had a heck of a time over in New Zealand and had a busy few weeks, and just happy to be back. But got the job done over there, and it was a ton of fun.
Have you had time to reacclimate? You spent a couple of weeks over there. You're fresh back, I understand.
Yeah, we just got in Thursday night, and it was a pretty good night's sleep after a long day traveling Thursday, but last night was just awful. So just trying to get back in the routine. I'm sure I'll get a few pointers from Andy and Dex and the guys that do it often, but I don't know if I can just do it the way they do it, because I know they work hard, they run around, they race everywhere. So I got to just try and find a way to get back in a good sleep pattern.
Now, you're a two-time winner. You won this in 2017, but you were sort of on your home turf in Canada. Had to be much different going to New Zealand, a different style of racing. Take us through your preparation to the event.
Yeah, it was a lot different. There's a lot of European-style racing, like where there's horses parked 2 and 3 wide the whole mile, and it takes a bit to, like you said, get acclimated. But it was a real honor to get it done over there, because, like you said, I won 2017, but it was home track. I kind of felt like, everyone says, yeah, well, you win at home, you have the home field advantage, and it was good to go prove you can do it somewhere else, and it was really exciting.
Yeah, versatile and a bit of a comeback win, I know, as well. Now, tonight you've got Oakwood Arden in the Open Championship, race 7. You've driven it once in the past. You've got a nice post finale for him tonight. What are your expectations?
I think he's a great horse. I drove him the one time, like you said, at Mohawk, and he stormed home, just got beat, but paced out of his skin home. He's been flying home every week, and just bad draws been hurting him. He's a horse that really the draw means a lot, and inside draw should help him. And if I can get him in a good spot, and I know he's going to give me a good effort.
All right, best of luck tonight, James, and congratulations again on the World Driving Championship just last week. James McDonald, he's back with us here tonight at the Big End.
Great stuff. Post parade time coming up here. Race number 7. It's an open pace. It's $350,000. Full field of 10 here signed on. We're going to take a look at the 1 here in just a moment, and that is your favorite. Dexter Dunn looking for another one, Irvin Hanover.
If this horse runs anything like he has in his last couple of races, he's not going to lose in here. It's just a short price you're going to have to take on him tonight if you believe that. We'll see if he regresses, but looks like he's razor sharp right now.
Very nice there. 1 to 2, definitely going to be your favorite. Looks like going into this 7th race for this big money, big person. There is the 2 right next door, James McDonald, who we just saw in that interview, Oakwood Arden.
Look for him late in the mile. His best calling card is coming from out of the clouds.
And the 3 is going to be right next door to them. That's Coach's Corner.
Solid second behind Irvin Hanover. This is a hard-hitting group in division. It's all about trips for them, honestly.
Scott Zeron's got the 4, Maximus Mickey.
That was a hard-fought win by a nose in the Potomac last time out. We'll see what trip he pulls tonight in this spot.
Dave Miller driving Ken Hanover.
Had the worst of it in the Breeders' Crown, but I had to go first over. We'll see if he can work out something a little bit better tonight and have to not suck in all that air.
Some very familiar names coming up here. There is the 6 at 10-1.
Is my top pick, and here, Captain Albano. It's all about Trip. You could toss the Breeders' Crown, so hopefully all the big hitters and speeds inside of him, and he could sit and pounce.
Just a cool horse, just to kind of enjoy here. A Buck-a-Bet Hanover, 35-1. Is the 7.
Yeah, it's been a tough season, just 2 for 16, but he's a 24-time winner and 90 career starts. You always have to love that.
Tim Tetrick, he'll be driving another long shot here, 49-1, Ruthless Hanover.
And another tough season for Ruthless Hanover, just 1 for 13 coming off of what was a very solid 2024.
Yannick Gingras, we just saw him get a win, hunting the last dollar. That's the 9.
Yeah, certainly the class relief helped last time over at Yonkers, was able to easily dominate that field.
And to the outside, it's going to be Captain Luke at 46-1.
Yeah, the captain's been struggling lately this season. The last 4 efforts have not been that good.
Top pick, Paul Verderosa, who do you got?
Captain Albano, like I said, for me, the Breeders' Crown's a complete toss. You know, clearly he wasn't himself in that spot. I think the key to him tonight is that there's some pace drawn inside of him. Maybe it gives him a chance to actually sit back, relax, and make one run in this spot. So I'm getting a good price, too.
All right, you like the 6, 11-1. Let's see if Paul can keep things going here from the desk here in New York. Let's go out to the Meadowlands. Jessica Otten, Gabe Pruitt, your thoughts here on this upcoming 7th.
No, my thoughts are here, Gabe. It's going to be hard to go against Irvin Hanover, in my opinion, off of that record-breaking Breeders' Crown performance. It wasn't a warm night that night, per se, and the way he just pounced in the lane and drew away from the field was so impressive to me.
It really was. It was the last Breeders' Crown race that Saturday night up at Woodbine Mohawk Park. So to be that late the night, to go that type of mile, but this was an open-length winner, 146-2. He rides into the 6-race win streak tonight, Jess, probably sharper than he has ever been at his career. And what a career it's been. He's earned over $1.3 million, over $800,000 of that this season at the age of 5. But again, something's got to give here. I'm going to stick with Irvin Hanover, despite the short price in this spot, but he has raced 7 times in his career here at the Meadowlands, and it's been a little bit of his kryptonite. He's had 7 starts, no wins, no seconds, and just a 3rd-place finish. So the success really hasn't been there here in New Jersey. He'll hope to turn the tables here. One thing about it, I don't think he's ever been quite as sharp here at the Big M as he arrives in tonight.
Dave Maneri said he just enjoys the cooler weather. And some horses simply do like a bit of a cooler weather. He's got 10 wins from those 16 starts this season. So, in my opinion, it's hard to go against him. You know, a week or 2 away from the races, freshened up with that nice qualifier up at Mohawk. 53-2, home 25-2. I just think it's going to be hard to beat him from the rail in here. But it's a good group that we have here of open pacers. Coach's Corner, wow, what a couple of performances he's put up. In that Breeders' Crown elimination, he had the lead there at the quarter pole from post 9. He was second in the Breeders' Crown final behind Irvin Hanover. And talk about an effort in the Potomac pace. I mean, he was parked the middle half of the mile, and he just missed to Maximus Mickey.
Yeah, I suppose one of the other spots you'd get to here, he's 10-1 there from post 3, Jess. But as you mentioned, a runner-up to the 1 Irvin Hanover in the $600,000 Breeders' Crown. But he really just sat right behind him. He followed him. He got the draft right along, what we call an absolute perfect trip. But still beat number 3 lengths. So he was no match for Irvin Hanover that night. He's going to have to try and step his game up tonight if he's going to turn the tables.
What about Ken Hanover? Salute to David Miller. This is going to be his final full-time night here on the East Coast. He's going to head back to Ohio, his home state there. He had a tough trip in the Breeders' Crown final. He was sharp in that elimination, and he's back on the East Coast and a good post to work with.
Yeah, he has 21 career wins out of 57 starts. So got to respect those credentials of the 5-kid Hanover. 3 of those here at the Big M. As you said, very sharp. That was a career-best clocking just 2 starts back on October the 18th, 147-3 winner. Just the tough trip took its toll in that Breeders' Crown final. But as you said, he has had some success here on the East Coast. We'll see a little bit more on his home turf if he can turn the tables on the horse you're taking a look at, the 1 Irvin Hanover.
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a shootout here in the first turn, in my opinion. Guys, what about you?
Thanks so much, Jess and Gabe. And how about this? The number 7 at Buck-a-Bet Hanover. Final start of his career. So a rooting interest in there. He's going to have to really have a big effort here tonight to take down the big favorite in Irvin Hanover. But final start of his career here tonight. What a career it's been.
Yeah, he's a fan favorite. I think they're going to retire him, too, in the winner's circle after the race, if I'm not mistaken. I think I had read that earlier in the week.
All right, we're going to see what happens here. It's a grade 1. It's the open pace. It's $350,000. Dexter Dunn. He's looking for another one. So is Yannick Gingras. But Dexter Dunn right now is at 2-5. Here's their Hall of Fame announcer over at Meadowlands, Ken Workington, with the call of this Open Pace Championship.
Odds on 1-2 on 1. Irvin Hanover shooting for 6 in a row. Here they come. They're off. Coach's corner shoots out with Maximus Mickey and Ken Hanover leaving hard. Irvin Hanover from the inside with Oakwood Arden into the top 5 as they round the first turn. Captain Albano got away 6th on the inside. Then it's a buck up at Hanover. At the rear, Ruthless Hanover. Then we find Hunton, the last dollar, and Captain Luke at the back. Maximus Mickey, Scott Ziron in front. And here comes Ken Hanover and Dave Miller. Hot quarter here, 26 seconds. Opens it up so Ken Hanover brushes to the top. Maximus Mickey going to yield grudgingly here. Coach's corner 3rd. Off the speed, the big favorite, Irvin Hanover, jammed up on the helmet 4th. It's Oakwood Arden 5th on the inside. Then Captain Albano 6th. To the outside goes Ruthless Hanover. And then comes Hunton, the last dollar, and Captain Luke at the half. It's Ken Hanover at 5-1 in 53-4, 27-4 second quarter. Ken Hanover at 5-1 fronts them onto the far turn they go. On the inside, second is Maximus Mickey. Irvin Hanover has to do it first over, and second over is Oakwood Arden. Pinned in, but still 4th is Coach's corner. He'll need some racing room. Captain Albano's 3rd over, 6th on the outside with work to do. To his inside, a buck up at Hanover. Over by 3/4. It's Ken Hanover in 1:21 over the track, rated good. Ken Hanover by 2, trying to speed pop them tonight. Ken Hanover, Maximus Mickey on the outside, looking for the upset. Out of the pocket, here he comes. Maximus Mickey, and the money man gonna cash in here with a perfect trip. Maximus Mickey in the FanDuel final. Then Ken Hanover, then Coach's corner, and close Captain Albano or a buck at Hanover. 1:47-3 equals the stakes record.
Stakes record tying time there from track announcer Ken Workington with the winner, number 4, and Maximus Mickey, the money man. Scott Ziron gets it done right there, and Gabe Pruitt with plenty of thoughts here on this 7th race.
Yeah, how about that big effort here? 5-1 the off price at Maximus Mickey. And even on a chilly night here at the Meadowlands, a track rated as good, that's going to be a lifetime best performance in terms of time, guys. 1:47-3. That's going to be the fastest win of the 6-year-old's career. Here's 28th lifetime tally as he banks a major score tonight in this Open Championship final. But that's the 2nd consecutive stakes race that we've seen a horse get aggressive, lead the gate, get that nice trip drafting along, and through the stretch drive, get it done. So I think that forward positioning could be key here as we move forward on the card tonight. Great drive for the money man Scott Ziron as he rolls by to pull off another minor upset.
Paul, you hear from Gabe there talking about the tactics employed, and Maximus Mickey, you talk about that time too. We said this is kind of that end of the season, just let it go, let them cook. Maximus Mickey gets it done.
Listen, last time out doing the Potomac, same kind of drive, aggressive, and was able to just hang on there in that spot while doing all the dirty work, on the front end. Here was able to just draft, as Gabe said, and able to kick down in the stretch and be able to pace and pace hard to the wire. Very solid effort. Right church, wrong pew tonight. Irvin Hanover just did not have it after coming first over.
There is the number 4 you do see headed back towards that winner's circle. $350,000 purse, taking it down. And by Always Be Mickey, taking a look at the 6-year-old gelding who has had now, that's going to push over $1 million in earnings with that victory.
Yeah. So solid for that horse. And listen, the old guy up back at Hanover didn't run badly either. Final start was in that photo for 4th there.
Yeah, we've seen some really, really great performances, and we've seen some mid-range prices too. We haven't seen those real heavy favorites get the job done. Well, one earlier, but not lately. We've been seeing some of those mid-range prices. We'll see if that does continue. If you want to watch us and see it continue, jump on over to the app. We're going to head on over to the app right now. We're going to jump off of FS2. Maybe be back a little bit later, but head on over to the app, and we are going to see you over there. We'll have plenty more coverage of this great night here at the Meadowlands on America's Day at the Races.
A provision in a bill passed this summer reduces the tax deduction for wagering losses from 100% to 90%. This unfair change would tax horse players on a percentage of their losses, could cost over $1 billion in handle, and threaten thousands of jobs in the racing industry. That's why the NTRA is fighting to pass the Wager Act, a new bill that would restore the deduction to 100%. Tell Congress to pass the Wager Act. Visit ntra.com/wager.
And here we are on America's Day at the Races here on our Fox Sports app, taking a look at the winner there of the Open Pace Grade 1 Final. Getting it done, it was the number 4 in Maximus Mickey. It was the money man, Scott Zeron, getting the driving duties and getting the victory, and Jessica Otten with plenty more with the money man.
Thanks, guys. Maximus Mickey, he establishes a new lifetime mark tonight, Scotty, 147-3. Just talk about this guy and maybe the last couple of months that you've sat behind him.
He's actually been phenomenal, and honestly, it's because he's so nice to handle. He never gets too excited. If anything, he could be a touch lazy, which is great when we have to go this fast. So I could start him up, race him from anywhere, and he's a model of consistency, really.
You know, he was facing Open Company, Preferred Company in the beginning of this season, and now he's taken on and beaten the best of the best. He's a big, good-looking horse. Talk about his trip tonight.
Yeah, the trip was great. I mean, I didn't plan on leaving just because I thought there'd be a few long shots leaving on the outside, which could put a wedge in where I wanted to sit. But when I looked over and no one was leaving, we pushed forward, and that's his best attribute. You know, I don't have to have a plan. I could change as I go.
It's a cool night. Like I had mentioned, 147-3 is a new lifetime best for him. It just speaks of credibility to him.
Yeah, he really does. And, you know, they overlook him all the time, and he keeps putting forth great efforts, so I'm happy he got it done.
Nice job. There you have it, Scott Zeron, Tom Cancelliere. They're going to team up in the championship with the Open Pacers 147-3. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much. And you do see Scott Zeron very happy, a little bit muddy, but you know, when you come from a little bit off the pace, that's what happens. And Maximus Mickey looked like want to go around again.
Yeah, solid effort here. Now back-to-back off of that park trip in the Breeders' Crown spot. And goes over $750,000 now for the season and over $1 million lifetime.
There are the results there. We saw another mid-range price. Let's see if it continues here as we got race number 8 coming up right there at the Meadowlands. Of course, it's 1 mile. It's the 3 diamonds, and you heard Paul Verderosa chuckle a little bit there, and that's because we've got a very short price favorite in Luadepa.
Yeah, I would be hard-pressed to think that she's not going to be 1-9 when this race goes off. We'll see what happens. And, yeah, she is just faster than what she's been facing. She's just better than the groups of horses she's been facing. And I said it earlier, you could probably hang her in post 20 tonight. Send her down to New Zealand, have one of those races where they all race 2-3 wide. She'll still be fine and probably bury the field, honestly. I think she's just head and shoulders above that group. You know, I think she's as solid as they come.
Yeah, looking forward to what Luadepa is going to do. That's going to be in the upcoming 8th race coming up, that 1 mile pace. But you got to have a driver in order to be a top performer. And of course, we've had some tremendous drivers that we've seen. So here's our final 4 top drivers this year: Jason Bartlett, Dexter Dunn, James McDonald, Ronnie Wren Jr., who you've all seen on all of our shows here as we put them on throughout the season. Leading driver, earnings, all these things can come into play. But your top driver of the year, Paul Verderosa, are you going to stay kind of around the state of New York?
My guy, Jason Bartlett. Yeah, for sure. So, you know, I got a lot of Jason Bartlett love. There's no doubt about that. And look, for him, this is a guy who dominated around New York State. We know that. We know about his record at Yonkers, but also when he goes to other places for the, you know, Sire Stakes and other races around New York State. But here's a guy now this year who's establishing himself on the Grand Circuit, and he's getting those drives. He's following those horses around. He's traveling with those horses. Won his first Breeders' Crowns this year as well. And listen, he's second in wins in the country to a guy named Aaron Merriman, who we've seen on our shows before. And Aaron is a guy who will literally log thousands of miles and drive 20 races a day, start at the Meadows in Pennsylvania and end up back in Ohio and end up in the Midwest and then end up back again. So to be second to him is nothing to be ashamed about. And when you can bank over $15 million this year, as Jason Bartlett has done, you're doing something right. So for me, I think Jason, when you look at that list, is having a career year, and he deserves to be recognized for it and be driver of the year.
Yeah, a lot of top names on that list, and of course they've got to have top horses in order to kind of catapult them to the top of the standings wherever they might go. Gabe, Jess, he likes Jason Bartlett here from the set. Are you going the same way in this Final Four? Your top driver of the year.
Well, I think you can make a case for each one of those 4 drivers that we just showed on there, Gabe. But Jason Bartlett, his numbers have continued to grow the last 5 years, we'll say. Wins, earnings, and the UDRS as well. 717 wins, 14.9 million in purse earnings, and a UDRS of 451. Like they mentioned, you know, Aaron Merriman, he does double duties. He travels all over the place to race as many tracks in one day. But Jason Bartlett had stayed at Yonkers, and this year was the year that he decided to branch out and follow some horses, and it's paying dividends.
Yeah, it really is. And Jason, just a competitive guy. He grew up playing basketball, focused on basketball in high school and college. Once he graduated in college, you know, he started to focus on the sport of harness racing. He had family interest in the business, but a heck of an athlete all the way through school, and obviously he's made a big impact here in the sport. Now over $15 million, I think, Jess, once we include the earnings tonight. He's the leading money-winning driver on the season, second in wins. It's just hard to knock him. He's recently inducted to the Maine Athletic Hall of Fame. So he's from Maine, but as Paul said, primarily based here in New York. I think he's a 1-to-9 shot, and believe me, those are all 4 very talented drivers up there on the screen.
Giving some love to a fellow Michigander, Ronnie Wren Jr. He won the Little Brown Jug. He won the North America Cup. He had several stakes win down in Lexington, Kentucky, and he added a Breeders' Crown win with Luadepa there up at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Of course, that champion filly she is. We're going to see her a little bit later on tonight. He sits 7th in earnings this year in 2025, 510 wins, a UDRS of 388. He doesn't really leave the Midwest much, but he does follow a couple of those champion horses in Luprint, Luadepa, and maybe a couple others as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you when he does leave the Midwest is when that guy calls right Ron Burke, the all-time leading trader in the sport of harness racing. And he's Ronnie's main man there in the Midwest, you know, particularly at the Meadows, based in western Pennsylvania, just outside Pittsburgh, and also in Northfield Park, just outside Cleveland. So Ronnie's had a great career. All the wins you just mentioned, by the way, here in about 10 minutes, I think he's going to add the 3 diamonds because Luadepa is going to be 1-to-9 from post-sit, I believe, Jess. But it's been a breakout year for Ronnie. The numbers he's piled up throughout his career, but really some signature wins this year. Yeah. I think that's the difference there. Just some of those major stakes wins. Great to see. I know the Little Brown Jug, particularly special for him.
Yeah, for sure. And when you start out driving at the fairs in Michigan when you're younger and then being on the Grand Circuit, I know it means a lot to him. And, you know, a horse like Luprint makes it all fun. And Luadepa.
Yeah, and I think had it not just been for this outstanding season for Jason Bartlett,
Right.
Ronnie Wren probably would be your favorite for driver of the year. But Jason has just got above and beyond. It's been such a breakout year for a guy that's had a heck of a career. I mean, he's won well over 10,000 races already. So just some of the major wins he's had this year, I really think the voters will probably trade in that direction.
I know he's got my vote. I'm going to be in agreement with Paul for driver of the year. Goes to Jason Bartlett, in my opinion.
All right, there we go. Jason Bartlett, kind of unanimous. It seems like that is going to be the top driver. When you have top earnings and you have a big season like that, but also the timing. We talk about timing in the race, but also Jason Bartlett, we've heard on his interviews and we've heard throughout the season that he wanted to make sure it was the right time to kind of branch out and start driving in some of those different races and for some of those different outfits. It's really paid off.
Yeah, timing's everything, and in Jason's case, he's had a successful career up until this season, without a doubt. He just took it to that next level, which is what you want to do, as a driver. So he felt it was time, and he actually did. So kudos to him. I got nothing but love for him. And actually, Ronnie Wren's a great feel-good story this year. I really put them, 1-2, solid. And Dexter, he won in 2024. There's no doubt about it. You can never count Dex out. But I don't feel like – I wonder if Dex would agree that he didn't have the season that maybe he thought he would. Like, it's still a good season. He's still winning, races. But coming off of 2024, maybe 2025 just wasn't as solid.
Yeah, when you're on top, it's very difficult to keep doing it season after season when you're at the top of the standings. So we've got to take a quick break. We're going to come on back, and we're going to talk plenty more. The Governor's Cup from the Big M on America's Day at the Races.
Ever dreamed of owning a racehorse? Well, now you can for free. Introducing freeracehorse.com, where you get a real share in a real racehorse at no cost. Be part of the action. Get VIP access to training, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and experience the thrill of the race like never before. Sign up now at freeracehorse.com and claim your free ownership share today. Don't just watch the race. Own it.
Champions are made on the racetrack, but many of them are born, raised, and developed at farms right here in New Jersey. New Jersey is home to nearly 100,000 acres devoted to the horse industry, and harness racing's breeding and training facilities play a vital role in protecting open space and supporting agriculture throughout the Garden State. With the state's ongoing recognition of the importance and value of the standardbred industry, New Jersey will remain a place where champions are made. To learn more, visit sboanj.com.
Back here on America's Day at the Races, getting set for race number 8 is going to be coming up. And 4 to 5 right now, Luadepa. So that price is floating up a little bit, Paul Verderosa. We're going to talk plenty about that, but let's get to a post parade here. $357,000 is the purse. It's the grade 1. It's the 3 diamonds, and that is the one in Perfect Thought.
Last time we saw her was in the Breeders' Crown, and she showed a little bit of speed early on, opened up, and then tired.
Lauren Tritton's going to have the driving duties here on the 2, a Darlin's Angel.
First time this horse actually had to face some pressure last time. 2 moved and tired 2 weeks ago. Maybe she doesn't get burned out as early today, and she's lightly raced.
Todd McCarthy, Andrew Harris, they're going to team up. That's Naughty Beauty.
Naughty Beauty did win down at Dover in one of the divisions of the matrons for the Philly Pacers last time out.
Yannick Gingras teaming up Ron Burke, Seaside Shuffle.
Again, can't count on anything coming from the Burke barn, so the other Burke in this spot at 6 to 1.
That is the 4 there at 6 to 1. The 5 is Fabulous Hanover.
Just 1 for 10 on the season. Does like those second and thirds, though.
The 6, She's a Bulldog, Dexter Dunn.
tough ask to get your first win here, but did finish second in the Breeders' Crown behind Luadepa, 3.5 lengths beaten.
The 7 is going to be a big number here, 42-1. Better Be a Star.
Yeah, Better Be a Star is just 2 for 10 on the year for Chris Ryder. She's not really that bad of a horse. She just hasn't had that much racing luck sometimes, having come from far out of it.
Next up, the 8, Tim Tetrick, I'm a Lulu.
You know, had a rough trip at Dover and picks up Lasix today, was the favorite in that spot, too, in that matron race.
And next up will be the 9. Big price here, 37-1 on air.
Yeah, has been beaten soundly in the last 3 starts against Luadepa and a few others that are in here.
And on the far outside, there is your favorite 3-5. Paul Verderosa said 1-9 maybe, but that price is holding so far, Luadepa.
3-5 might be an overlay. I'll take a little bit of that action in that spot right there. So she's just better than this group. So maybe people are a little scared of the post, or maybe, you know, just the way that she's run in her last few starts, having some Breeders' Crown races and some Sire Stakes action. But she's done it so easily, and she's, you know, just beating other groups. So I don't know how taxing it was for her. I don't know. I'll take 3-5 all day on this horse.
Yeah, hard to bet against her in this spot. Gabe, Jess, are you guys going to get creative, or is it Luadepa right now at 3-5?
Oh, it's hard to get creative in a spot like this, especially in the win position. Of course, Luadepa, we saw the performance she had in the Breeders' Crown final there, Gabe, and throughout her whole 2-year-old season. But you could probably get a little creative underneath.
You know, she's been just an absolute freak, Jess. I think it's a way to mention it. She's just been incredible since she's gotten on this roll. No, trainer Ron Burke has 4 starters in this race. A lot of this race, revolves around him. Of course, Luadepa headlining that 4 submitted this one. We've seen the horses not really been able to close from far back, so I think Ronnie Wren's hand is going to be forced here tonight. I think he'll have to lead the gate from post 10 here with Luadepa, get this favorite in somewhere in contention, whether it's, even away mid-pack here. I just don't think, obviously, you're going to be able to make up that type of ground late. I'm not sure he wants to completely set sail. We'll have to watch how this race unfolds. But Luadepa, I think, in a league of her own, I do not think we're going to get that 3-5 price. I think the post inflating that a bit, but I do think when it's all said and done, I'd take the under on 3-5.
After seeing all the moves she made in the Breeders' Crown elimination and still drawing away from the field, I think she can really overcome any sort of trip, especially, as sharp as she is.
Yeah, she really is. And, I mean, it has been just another blockbuster season for trainer Ron Burke. Mentioned he had 4 in here. I mean, this is a guy that is the all-time leading money-winning trainer in harness racing, $375 million in his career, over 16,000 wins. And how about this? This is his best year ever, monetary-wise, Jess, nearing in on $30 million in earnings in 2025 alone. And again, with this force, he sends out here in this race for $357,000. Not going to shock us to see him get the lion's share of this big purse tonight as well.
Amalulu also comes from the Ron Burke barn. Talk about bad posts. Post 10 in the Breeders' Crown elimination, she finished second. Post 9 in the final, just an unlucky trip there. Post 8 in the matron at Dover. She had the lead there at the end of the mile and just gave it up at the end of it. She's going to add Lasix here for the first time, and Tim Tetrick's been quite the fit for her. You're getting 10-1 on her.
I think that's a good price. I mean, this is a filly that obviously has been maybe overshadowed a little bit by her stablemate Luadepa, but the gutsy effort last time at a runner-up there, the Matron Stakes. She's been on the board 9 of 11. She's been over $250,000, and you're getting 10-1 here from post 8. That's another one that I think is going to have to try and get out of there and get some position. Tim Tetrick will have his work cut out there, but another one I think here that is a live chance to be close. Do I think she can turn the tables on her stablemate Luadepa? No, unless something, unforeseen happens there from post 10, and we just see that trip get too tough. But I'm not sure I could come up with a trip that I still wouldn't like Luadepa in this one tonight. I think she could start over at MetLife Stadium here across the way, and I still think heads and shoulders above the other fillies here in the 3 dimes.
It looks like you're going for the Ron Burke Superfecta. Seaside Shuffle, she gets post 4 to work with, better than that Breeders' Crown final post that she had in there, Gabe. She come flying at the end of it as well. She was the Ohio Sire Stakes champ at Dayton. She was 3rd in the International Stallion in Lexington, where she popped up a 25-4 last quarter. She gets the best to post in here out of the 4 Ron Burke trainees.
Yeah, she starts from post number 4, and this is another one that's been, maybe even a bit under the radar. We talk about this record season for trainer Ron Burke. She's been on the board 10 of 11. She's made nearly $400,000. It's been a good season. We saw Yannick take advantage early when he had the post edge over some of the logical contenders. We'll see if he has the same tactics in mind here, driving the 4 Seaside Shuffle.
It's going to be a good one. Luadepa from post 10, 1-2 on her for the Ron Burke Brigade. It's the 3 diamonds up next. We'll send it back to the guys first in New York.
Thank you very much, guys. And taking a look at this upcoming 8th race. And Paul, I'm going to challenge you a little bit here. I mean, we have seen a couple races so far on our show where post position has played a little bit of a factor. We've seen some better trips. Luadepa, we're saying it doesn't matter that she's going to be towards that far outside or on the far outside, I should say. Are we not focusing on that enough? We know we feel she can overcome the post, but it's got to be a little bit of a concern, doesn't it?
A little bit, but to be fair, when you look at some of the horses that are inside of her, like On Air and I'm a Lulu and Better Be a Star, and even She's a Bulldog, and to some extent Fabulous Hanover, they're not exactly levers, so I'm hoping she clears half this field going into the first turn. We'll see how, the break plays and how hard she's pacing out of there, but you would assume she's going to come calling on the backside in this field. You do not want to get yourself into a jackpot in this spot being a 2 to 5 shot.
And you feel like you're going to have to see some sort of career, some top pacing performance here from one of the other contenders to be able to go with a champ like Luadepa.
Just by the way that you look at some of these other horses, they're just not fast enough with their career best at the moment, to challenge her. I mean, we'll see what we get. She's run some 149 and 1, 149.3, 148, 149 and 1. I don't see many of those on the page, if any, for some of these horses that are in this field.
All right, Luadepa, she's got that outside draw. No concerns right now from Paul. Jess, Gabe, they like Luadepa too. We'll see if she continues this championship run. It's Ken Workington. It's a grade 1. It's the 3 Diamonds. It's 2-year-old fillies. Let's go to the call.
For the 8th, the 3 Diamonds. Here they come. They're off. Luadepa from the outside just floated away. There goes She's a Bulldog from the inside. Seaside Shuffle with Naughty Beauty and Darlin's Angel and Perfect Thought on the rail 4 wide into the first turn. Cutting the corner is Perfect Thought and Scott Ziron. And now Seaside Shuffle and Jengra up to challenge for the lead. Darlin's Angel gets away in 3rd. She's a Bulldog 4th to the outside. Luadepa gaining ground from 5th at the quarter. Then it's Naughty Beauty on the inside. Gapped early is Fabulous Hanover, followed by Better Be a Star at the rear of the field. I'm a Lulu and On Air. Taking over Seaside Shuffle. 27-2 was that opening quarter. Seaside Shuffle. Now Luadepa and Ronnie Wren Jr. They brush to the top. Luadepa, the big standout filly, takes the lead now. Seaside Shuffle back in the 2nd spot. Perfect Thought on the inside 3rd. It's Darlin's Angel 4th, getting close to the half now. She's a Bulldog 5th on the inside and edging out now. She's Fed Racetrack, tracked by Naughty Beauty on the outside. And then it's a Better Be a Star. That one's stride for stride with Fabulous Hanover at the rear of the field with On Air and I'm a Lulu. That half was 55 and 4, 28-2 second quarter. The midway on the final turn, the target is Luadepa, and She's a Bulldog. Yes, she is, and she means business. She's coming up to say hello to Luadepa. She's a Bulldog on the outside, a fierce late bid. Seaside Shuffle right there in 3rd on the inside. Naughty Beauty is 4th. They're at 3/4 in 124. Into the stretch they hook up. Luadepa, now She's a Bulldog and Dexter Dunn, they grab the track. And She's a Bulldog with a powerhouse first over to the top and opens up by 2 underaging. Luadepa's trying to battle back. Then it's Seaside Shuffle and Perfect Thought. She's a Bulldog. Say hello to She's a Bulldog in the 3 Diamonds. Then it was Luadepa, Perfect Thought, and the time 1:51 and 1.
The 3 Diamonds, a grade 1, goes to not Luadepa. She ends up finishing 2nd there. She's a Bulldog, Dexter Dunn. Trainer Ron Burke, he does pick up the victory there. The 2-year-old filly by Bulldog Hanover. Gabe Pruitt, what did we just see?
Well, Chris, for those of us that spend about every day at the racetrack, not much can shock us, but I am mouth wide open here. I mean, this was a significant turn of the tables here. She's a Bulldog, the only maiden in the field. She was 0 for 8 in her career. She was a runner-up to her stablemate Luadepa up there at the Breeders' Crown for $700,000 at her last start. But a great time to break her mate. She was 54-1 last time at the Breeders' Crown. Off that 2nd place finish, the public had her at 7-1. How about this? She's a filly by the great Bulldog Hanover. Of course, he bred that first crop while he was still on the track in that world record season, where he established the fastest mile in artist racing history, 1:45 and 4. He had just a very small crop with the dual duties there, racing and breeding. This a filly from his first crop. Trainer Ron Burke was quoted earlier this season training down. He thought She's a Bulldog was his best filly. But obviously, Luadepa stole the show when she hit the track, but late in the season, how about She's a Bulldog? A perfect time to pick up her first career victory. She's owned and bred by Brad Grant of Milton, Ontario. He, of course, one of the owners of Bulldog Hanover as well.
3.5 lengths separated them last time. She's a Bulldog. She turns the tables, and she takes down Luadepa, the big favorite. Ron Burke still gets the win, but big mile there from She's a Bulldog.
Yeah, and first over, in order to do it. And I was right about the trip that Luadepa got. She was able to clear half the field going into the first turn. She just marched her way to the top before the half. But, man, I don't know. I don't know if it was just a little too much of a, I don't want to say overconfident drive, but maybe just that, Ronnie Wren figured, okay, I'm on the front end. I'm going to let this horse on the outside steamroll to me. Maybe She's a Bulldog's not going to have enough to keep up with me in the stretch. But, boy, she just accelerated off that turn and paced away. And, listen, Luadepa kind of had a little second gear in her, too, because when She's a Bulldog got clear and Ronnie switched Luadepa to the outside, she kind of ran a little bit more. But there's no way she was going to catch her stablemate, and She's a Bulldog. So,
all right.
Ron Burke with the big win here.
Let's find out plenty more here. Dexter Dunn with Jess Scott.
She's a Bulldog breaks her maiden, of course, in this 3 Diamonds final. I'm driver Dexter Dunn here. First and foremost, Dex, you drove Bulldog Hanover throughout his career. Pretty cool to sit behind one of his offsprings.
Yeah, very cool. Bulldog's best horse I've ever sat behind, and to sit behind his babies now is, it's like you said, just very cool.
A nice pickup here, of course, in this final. Talk to me a little bit about the trip. Of course, Luadepa, she's been sensational in her 2-year-old campaign. You come first over quite a way, but she seems strong.
Yeah, I mean, obviously first time sitting behind her, but I knew, they had a big opinion on her earlier in their campaign this year, and so I just didn't do things right. And but obviously her running the Breeders' Crown was great to run second, and I moved her at the half there, and I was trying to slow her down the last turn because she was rearing to go, and obviously didn't know how much kick she would have, but when I called on her, she really kicked good.
She seemed strong through the wire.
She really did, yeah. She got a little lazy, a little lost once she cleared Luadepa there, but she was doing it good. It was a great performance by her.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Dexter Dunn, Ron Burke, they're going to team up with She's a Bulldog in the 3 Diamonds final. 150-1-1. Nice way to make the Braden, guys.
Indeed, Jess Cotton talking about breaking the maiden there. That is a good way to do it in a grade 1. And She's a Bulldog. I thought it was an interesting point that you just pointed out. You felt like the second gear kind of there for Luadepa. Maybe caught a little by surprise. Would that be possible there when you talk about the top of the lane?
I just wonder if James McDonald thought that She's a Bulldog was going to go away. Wasn't going to be as strong in the stretch after that first over, long sustained bid to the top. But boy, She's a Bulldog took off, and she was $209,000 winner as a maiden already. So get your first win in this race, man. Good stuff.
Dexter Dunn will pick up another victory on the night, teaming up with Ron Burke, and it was She's a Bulldog, the maiden, with an upset and a big one on America's Day at the Races.
Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you are looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standard Bred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
Entering the winner's circle there at the Meadowlands. Of course, it's America's Day at the races, and maybe not quite who we thought was going to be entering the winner's circle. We thought Ron Burke would be entering the winner's circle, but this is the 6th, and that is She's a Bulldog.
Well, it's also still a Ron Burke, so it's just the horse he probably didn't think he was going to win with either way. But, listen, you cannot discount anything that is coming out of Team Burke right now. It doesn't matter if he's got 3 in the race, just decide on one of them, because lately they've been winning, and she did a really good job breaking her maiden here, and was going to run her winnings up to over $375,000.
The 1-9 heavy favorite in Luadepa is going to have to settle for second. She's a Bulldog. Luadepa, Perfect Thought. The money man Scott Zeron rounding out that trifecta, which came back over $100. So when you get your 1-9 favorites in that second position, you still make a little bit of money. And we've seen another one of those mid-range prices. Not a huge, massive long shot, but these are the ones that you really like to hit if you have a good opinion. And it seems like a 2-year-old that's really on that improve here to close out her year. The Governor's Cup, a pace, 1 mile, $334,000. Race number 9 is coming up. And Jason Bartlett's going to be driving the number 4 Fragment. But are we getting a little nervous with the favorites here? We got an even money shot right now.
You can have him at even money. Listen, he pulled down a $250,000 final already this year, and he was rolling right along through New York Sire Stakes at various venues during the season. When he's lost to the likes of Bojangles and Brandon Boulevard and Hunt Off the Press. So legitimately in this spot, he was most likely going to be the favorite, but I am going to be a toast of the town kind of guy in this spot. Well, thank you very much, right? I am. Yeah. And that's what I'm going to be. So I'm going to take a shot with the 2 in here against him in this spot.
Let's talk about post draws. I mean, I think it has become a little bit of a story on the night. I think we've seen some of those outside draws not do as well. I'm thinking more, you kind of want to be closer to the inside right now because you're going to get better tactical position in these 1 mile paces and trots.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't want to be, starting in post 10. I still think, post 10 was probably not the ultimate, end-all be-all for Luadepa in that spot, and I'll be interested to hear what both Ron Burke and Ronnie Wren Jr. have to say about the effort from her in that spot. But like any other venue, you definitely don't want to be out in the 9 and 10 hole if you can avoid it, and you don't want to be hung out on the smaller tracks in the 7 or 8 hole. At the end of the day, it ultimately comes down to intent leaving the starting gate and who's in front of you and what the other drivers are doing for position.
All right, we'll see if that trend does continue. We'll see if we can catch some more of these mid-range prices because we've seen some really great pacing and trotting action so far on the night, and that's going to continue with that man, Ron Burke, the sport's top trainer. Plenty more about Ron Burke and his barn and the family coming back on America's Day at the Races.
Whether you maintain a food plot on the weekends, tend to a small herd of livestock, or work in professional landscaping, New Holland's family of Workmaster and Boomer compact tractors at Clinton Tractor can get the job done. Known for delivering outstanding value for their performance, these reliable, powerful, and easy to operate New Holland compact tractors will help you tackle your to-do list while being easy on your wallet.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest priced horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, and you see another gorgeous shot there. Great job by the crew. shot of the Meadowlands, and we've seen some great pacing, trotting action. We saw a big upset, too. We saw the maiden get the victory. She's had 8 career starts, 2 seconds up to this point, but I think She's a Bulldog said, I got to earn some of this purse money here towards the end of the year, and got the job done. The Governor's Cup is coming up. More great purse money here, $334,000. It's race number 9. Fragment, as we talked about even money, has now gone down to 3-5, Paul.
Yeah, fresh off that blowout matron win over at Dover Downs, and has been rolling right through the New York Sire Stakes at various venues throughout this state, throughout this season. So, listen, when you look at this horse's body of work, and he's already won a $250,000 final this year, so he's been in it for big money and has won it. When you take that all into consideration, now coming back tonight, listen, you know, you look at his losses, right? His losses have been against Bojangles. We know, and we've talked about how good Bojangles is, being undefeated. And Brandon Boulevard's a good horse. Hunt Off the Press is a good horse as well. So I don't see any of those in here tonight. There's some up-and-comers in here, but there's none that have been as established as those horses.
And you were talking about toasts of the town. You were feeling pretty good. We'll talk more when we get closer to post time. But 7-1, I mean, if you're looking at 7-1 and you like that horse, you're going to be loving that price.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's all about trip for this horse, and we'll talk a little bit more about the trip that this horse had last time in just a little bit.
Yeah, it's time to bring those horses onto the track here. It is post-parade time, and looking forward to this 9th race. Seen some great pacing and trotting action so far. Good track still holding up, and you heard Dexter Dunn a little bit earlier talking to Jessica Otten about the track holding up, being pretty tight, and we've kind of seen that still throughout the evening, right?
Yeah, and good times as well. So I think it's important that we did not get any more rain there, you know, at the Meadowlands, and it's important as well that they hold the track together so the weather's cooperated.
All right, here we go. Apocalypse Blue Chip is going to lead off our post-parade race number 9 at 15-1.
Finished second behind Fragment in the matron last time out. Was big price then. It was 47-1.
Paul Verderosa's top pick is coming up next here. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. It's going to be the 3-year First and Gentlemen's Club, Andrew McCarthy.
Maybe he realized they picked him, and that's why he's being a little gun-shy. But Gentlemen's Club got the job done last time out in a 5 and under. Non-winners of 5, 2 through 5 spot.
3-5 on Fragment. There was the favorite, and here is going to be the number 5 in Talbot Andretti at 37-1.
0 for 11 on the seats, but does have Brett Beckwith in the bike, and Brett was the leading driver earlier this year at the Meadowlands.
Talk plenty about the favorite here in just a moment. Show me your ace at 19-1.
2 for 11 was second last time out as a big favorite down over at Cumberland Run in Kentucky Sire Stakes action.
And 8-1 right now on the 7. And that's going to be Andrew McCarthy driving Signal Caller.
You know, late on the pressure first over with some soft fractions last time out, and that third quarter kind of took its toll on him last time out. But an Old Daily horse I would keep in mind in this spot.
Here's a big long shot. That's Treacherous.
Goes out for Tony Alagna, just 1 for 10 on the season.
And we're going to take a look at the number 9 here coming up in just a moment. That's going to be Ronnie Wren Jr. trying to bounce back here with Ron Burke. Just went down the 1-9. Malillo, 13-1.
Yeah, Malillo's had an okay season this year. You know, 11 for 13 in the top 3. You know, has bucketed those 5 second-place finishes.
Yannick Gingras on the 10.
Yep, you root another Ron Burke horse.
Welcome to our FS2 viewers. It's America's Day at the Races, and we've got some great pacing and trotting action going on all night long on this Saturday night. Glad you could join us. Chris Griffin joined by Paul Verderosa, and we are continuing on with this card. It's been a great card. We've seen some mid-range prices. We just saw a big upset in the champ in Luadepa going down to She's a Bulldog.
Yeah, that was a long, sustained first over for her, and she was able to steamroll by Luadepa, and Luadepa just could not play catch-up in that spot.
All right, we're going to look at that, but 2 toasts of the town. Quick notes here before we send it over to Justin Gabe.
You can't tell me if this horse didn't get any trip, and you know that he would have actually been able to beat Bookie J last time. He was parked the entire mile, so I want to give him one more chance. He's drawn inside, and he was going to be a price tonight. He wasn't going to be that 4-5. So with any kind of trip, I think this horse can be tough off that trouble trip last time out.
Race number 9, $334,000. It's a grade 1. It's the Governor's Cup. It's a 1-mile pace, and we can't do it alone. Jessica Otten, Gabe Pruitt, they are trackside there at the Meadowlands, and they continue to do that fantastic work throughout the evening. But Gabe and Jess, what do you guys think for this upcoming Governor's Cup?
Well, I think it's more wide open than the betting board is telling us, Gabe. I figured Fragment would take some action off of that really strong win in the Matron down at Dover Downs, and his resume speaks for himself. Of course, he had post 10 in that Breeders' Crown final, but aside from that, he's had a very strong campaign in the state of New York, but he's going to have his test tested tonight.
Yeah, he is, and he's kept a busy schedule. So, I start to wonder, will that catch up to him, too? I mean, 15 starts. This is number 16 tonight for the favorite Fragment. That's quite a busy schedule for 2-year-old Jess. Having said that, he's won 9 of the 15 into the night, and 3 of the 6 losses were against Bojangles. So that, to me, is sort of like an excused absence when you miss school or work. So we're not going to hold those against him. He does arrive off a sharp win and stakes action there just 9 days ago at a win of the Matrons. So if he can stay sharp, I will concede he is the one to beat here, but I do not think he is invincible. We've seen a couple of odds-on favorites here over the last 2 grade ones knocked off. I'm going to take a swing against Fragment here as well.
Yeah, with no Bojangles in this race, it does make for it to be a bit wide open. You like the 10 a bit, 13-1 on U-Brute, of course, the royal-bred son of Warwi U-Butte and Tall Dark Stranger. Ron Burke said he's been racing well, got parked in that race with Bojangles on the lead, and that didn't work out. He thinks the bigger track is going to help him a lot. Of course, his regular pilot, Yannick Gingras, is going to be back aboard tonight. I think his hand's going to be forced from post 10.
I think it's going to be an absolute full-send blast mission from post 10 here tonight. First full, Jess, as you mentioned, from a mare, his mother, Warwi U-Butte, retired with over $2 million in earnings. She retired as the fastest standardbred ever, 148.3. That's since been eclipsed. She had a couple of Breeders' Crown wins in her career. She won the Jugette. She won everything, basically, is the easiest way to put it, over $2 million. This is her first full, and not so bad himself. Here's a 2-year-old, his freshman season. He's been on the board 7 of 9, over $300,000. Had a tough go of in the Breeders' Crown from Post Burdine, but I think post 10 tonight, Yannick going to lay his cards on the table earlier. I think he's going to lead the gate, and I think if he can get out of there and get some position, that's the type of trip we've seen win a couple of these big stakes so far tonight, that he could be in line to pull off a big upset.
Gentlemen's Club gets post 3 to work with. Now, this is an Ohio-bred son of Down by the Seaside out of the great race mare See You at Peelers, but he's a big horse, and when I saw him in Ohio, I said, this boy's going to have a lot of growing up to do. They gave him a little bit of time off in between that Ohio Sire Stakes final in Dayton before bringing him back a couple of weeks ago. What a strong effort in 50-2 last week.
Yeah, it really was, and I think what's key here, driver Andy McCarthy was listed on 3 horses in this race. So the way it works in harness racing, when you enter the horses, you can list whatever driver you'd like. If they're listed on multiple, they make the choice. So Andy had his choice 3, 7, or 8. He did opt to go back to the 3 Gentlemen's Club. That surprised me a bit. It made me take a little bit of a second look at this 2-year-old, but comes off a winning effort against Overnight Company, 4 of 9. A little bit of a test for class, I think you could say, Jess, but he's in career best form here late in his 2-year-old season. And as you said, good family here, too. I mean, his mother, See You at Peelers, she had a win streak, I believe, 21 in a row. She was featured in Sports Illustrated at one point. She made well over 7 figures as well. So another impeccably bred colt there in Gentlemen's Club from post number 3.
A homebred for the Burke Brigade. That's Malello. He had some traffic trouble in that Breeders' Crown elimination. A tough trip in the final. Didn't quite work out for him down at Dover. The track at Dover is usually speed favoring, Burke said, but for that night, it wasn't for his horses. He's 9-1 from post 9.
Yeah, and it does come off a little bit of a dull effort there last out, so I'm just not sure what to make of that. And I do wonder if both Burke horses here, they end up in post 9 and 10, will they both leave very quickly? I thought since Malotto left last start on the front end and he sort of faltered, I thought they may reverse tactics tonight, take back with Malotto. I still think the 10 U-Brute is the send horse off the wings tonight. And how about that price, just 14-1? I think he's got a major chance here. I just thought Malotto might have a tough go of it there from post number 9 if he does take back off the gate.
3-5 on Fragment, 14-1 on Gabe's top choice U-Brute. Who do you guys like back in the studio?
Thank you very much there, Jess and Gabe. And I'm glad that Gabe pointed out that Andrew McCarthy had 3 choices in here because it's Dexter Dunn on the 7 signal caller. I said Andrew McCarthy earlier. Talk about your 2 toast of the town.
For me, it's all about Trip. He was parked the entire mile and still almost got there last time out. Now, listen, maybe last time was the time for this horse, but I'd like to give him one more chance because he's drawn inside. He's a price tonight at 6-1, and if he got any Trip at all, he would have soundly beaten Bookie J in that spot in the kindergarten last time out, despite the Trip.
The track is rated as good. It's the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and we continue with the Grade 1s. It's a Governor's Cup. It's right now the $334,000 purse, and Ken Workington, the track announcer at Meadowlands, with the call.
And they're off. Malilo and U Brute blasting off on the far outside. There goes Gentleman's Club and Fragment put in play with Apocalypse Blue Chip on the inside into the top 5. Toast of the Town just floated away 6th on the inside, followed by Talbot Andretti. And then it's a Show Me Your Ace at the rear of the field with Signal Caller. And Treacherous is the early trailer. 2 wide and brushing up. U Brute from post 10 takes over and clears past the quarter in 26-3. Dazzling opening quarter for U Brute. Used hard early, and Jingra looks to tap the brakes and retaking Gentleman's Club and Andrew McCarthy across the backstretch. Fragment off the speed in 3rd by 2. Apocalypse Blue Chip is 4th on the inside. Malilo is 5th as they get close to the half. Edging out now, Toast of the Town gets underway. He'll be followed by Talbot Andretti. Then a gap of 3-4 more to Show Me Your Ace and Signal Caller on the outside. And Treacherous and off stride Toast of the Town. 54-4. They hook up onto the far turn now. Gentleman's Club and Fragment on the outside. The 2-5 chalk. On the inside, U Brute is 3rd after that quick start. Apocalypse Blue Chip setting it up now 2nd over 4th. On the inside, Malilo needs some racing room in 5th. Talbot Andretti needs to shake loose in 6th. Signal Caller on the outside 7th. It's Gentleman's Club. And on the outside, Fragment pours it on. Gentleman's Club turns first, 122 for 3/4. Into the stretch, demanding pace here. Gentleman's Club trying to keep it going. U Brute was revved up in the pocket. Il Angela take a late shot now. Gentleman's Club. U Brute on the outside is coming on. Surging late. Malilo on the inside. Gentleman's Club holding on in the Governor's Cup. Then Malilo close there with U Brute. And then a photo, Show Me Your Ace or Talbot Andretti. 150-2.
Driver Andrew McCarthy made the decision. He stuck with the 3 Gentlemen's Club, gets the victory there, and it did look like a lot of the drivers are saying, let's throw the gloves off. This isn't boxing, but they're going at it now in these miles. Big mile there from Gentlemen's Club. Gabe Pruitt, your thoughts?
Yeah, this was a major win. We talk about that choice the driver Andy McCarthy had here with the listed on the 3, 7, and 8. He took Gentlemen's Club, who is just razor sharp. We talk about late in the year, it's sort of the nail horse. This is his first major stakes victory, guys. This is a horse that come into the night, 4 wins the season, but it made just over $80,000. So this is a major win here, again, with over $330,000 on the line tonight. Andy drove him like he thought he was the best. I think that's the key there, too. The 10 U Brute did really set sail from that outside post, made the lead, but Andy did not want to sit 3rd. I think that's the key thing here. The favorite Fragment, he thought probably may move back to the lead, so he wanted to beat him to the punch. He moved back around the 10 U Brute. That forced the favorite Fragment to battle first over on the outside, and obviously just tired after the tough trip there late. But this is a big-time win from Gentlemen's Club, again, who was used pretty hard during the early stages. Bit of a taxing tempo early, but had enough to fend off a couple of good prices there late in the 9 Malilo and the 10 U Brute.
Thank you very much, Gabe. And taking a look at Gentlemen's Club, Andrew McCarthy driving, trained by Aaron Lambert. 2-year-old colt down by the seaside. Tremendous mile, and you even said it too, Paul, sitting right next to me.
Yeah, I think the retake was key in that spot, to be able to dictate and to be able in front. And the fractions were pretty quick out there. You're talking 26-3, to the quarter with U Brute leaving, and this horse was sitting pocket till the retake, and 122 to 3/4 wrapped up in 150-4. Had just enough in the tank to hold off both Malilo and U Brute in there. And to U Brute's credit, Yannick Gingras probably just, wanted to go in that spot. The horse actually, U Brute, had some efforts that you could look at and kind of pick apart and say, he just got in bad spots because he got picked off behind the same horse twice up at Woodbine and Mohawk. So I think position was key for him as well in this spot. But Gentlemen's Club with a solid effort. The first big stamp effort for this horse for sure.
When you're going to win a Grade 1, this is the night to do it. The Governor's Cup going to the 3 Gentlemen's Club, $334,000, and Jess Otten with the driver.
Thanks, guys. Winning driver Andy McCarthy gets the job done with Gentlemen's Club. You had a choice to make in here, Andy, but this colt was coming into the race fresh.
Yeah, it was a very tough choice. I'm a big believer in Signal Caller. He just kind of, this guy raced so big last week. He raced tough and some good down under connections there. My brother's owner, Tony LaCastro, I just want to congratulate him. Great guy, and I think he's got a nice horse here.
Now, I had the chance to watch this guy in Ohio a couple of months back, and I thought to myself, he's a big colt. He's probably going to need some time to grow up. They took a little bit of time away from the races, and it looks to pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had the chance to race him one time out there. Good job, Bucky. Had the chance to race him one time out there, and I kind of figured out that he wasn't going to be a small track horse. I was excited to try him on the big track here, and it seems like he likes it.
It was a nice field of horses here tonight. Just walk me through the trip, because he looks strong throughout the whole way.
Yeah, he's a strong boy. I wanted to be pretty aggressive with him. I wasn't sure how the start would go, but wanted to be forwardly placed, so he took care of the rest. He set up some big fractions on and off track, and he held tough.
Nice job.
Thanks, Jess.
There you have it. Andy McCarthy, Aaron Lambert. They're going to team up with Gentlemen's Club in the Governor's Cup. Back to you guys.
The number 3 Gentlemen's Club now moving to 5 for 10 lifetime, getting that 5th career victory and doing it impressively here tonight.
Yeah, without a doubt. And as Andy McCarthy said, not really a small track horse, because you look at him in the winner's circle, and he is a big guy, so he takes the bigger tracks better.
All right, we saw a big performance there from Gentlemen's Club, the number 3. We've seen plenty of top performances from this man's top pacers and trotters all season long. We'll talk about Ron Burke and his family and their impact on the sport when we come on back here on FS2, America's Day at the Races.
Why wait for fortune to be revealed when you can make your own move? Because no one ever talks about the time they played it safe. So go ahead, press your luck, tempt fate, and claim your destiny. Because once in a lifetime can happen every night. Welcome to a world that revolves around you. Your rules, your world. Resorts World.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races here on FS2, as we just saw a tremendous performance there in race number 9. Race number 9 going to the winner of that last effort. Taking a look at Gentlemen's Club, Andy McCarthy with the driving duties, 13-1 as the Down Under Connections get the victory there, 3, 9, 10, your order of finish. Now we're going to take a look at race number 10. It's coming up here, and we take a look at another Grade 1. Another $350,000. A field of 10 will be signed on, and they're going to go on that 1 mile trot. Should be an exciting race. And the number 6 in Lexus Cody, off of a 3rd place finish last time, looks to rebound there. Yannick Gingras with the driving duties, currently 4-1 for trainer Ron Burke. And great champions have emerged from the sport's top trainer, and of course, that's Ron Burke, the Hall of Famer. But for the Burke family, they know that if they want to stay on top, they've got to keep that same winning mentality every single day.
We bought this a few years ago. It's the same exact setup as the Delaware County Fair Track, which is the fastest half-mile track in the country. So we're able to train horses very fast here. And two, it's enabled us to even be more fluid. From here, it's not a far ship to any track in Ohio. So a lot of our good horses will base out of here now and then move to the other barn. With harness horses, we're actually doing it. We usually sit in the jaw carts. That's that longer thing. And my horses train good, they race good. They train poorly, they race poorly. Like I can tell you after I train them on Wednesday what our chances are on Saturday. My father first had car dealerships and he sold them when I was 12, thank God, because I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much. We started racing horses. We had 2 horses and I really thought my dad had lost his mind. In high school, I wanted to quit school and just start doing this full time, but my parents not only wouldn't let me do that, they made sure I went to college. I have a degree in pre-law. There were times, when it was tough, I'd think maybe I should go be a lawyer. Like anything else, as things get tough, you just can't quit because it was hard. We saw that the business was changing and adapted to the changing business and followed where the money was, and it worked out perfectly. Okay, back to Stay Sharp TD, and I'll go with Dancing Champion. My father only passed away a year ago, and he was with us all the way to the end, so my mom's still involved. My mom's the owner and the bookkeeper, and she runs the business side. My sister manages the one barn. My brother manages another barn and makes sure the shipping gets handled. Michelle makes sure everything gets handled. And now my son has joined the business, so, he's starting to drive and, he trains. It is nice that we all get along with each other, and I think that separates us. Like, there's nobody that will put themselves ahead of the other person. So I'm actually watching 2 different races right now. I watched the one from Poconos on my phone because it's just an overnight. And then I have a stake race here. Probably at any point we have 300 horses in training. The organization has grown to over 400. There's sires, there's brood mares. I at least look at every horse every day, at least look at their name and come up with a plan for what I want for that day for them. I'm going to start close to 6,000 horses this year. An easy day, 3 to 4 tracks. A harder day, 9 tracks. On the weekend, we're going to race 50 to 60 a day.
Sipping on C-Rock up the inside, and sipping on C-Rock will get the win in the Breeders' Crown Final.
I think I'm most proud of it is the numbers we put up there. I don't think they can ever be matched, or I don't see the person out there yet that, is going to do it. I enjoy winning. When I was a little kid, my coach told me, winning's fun, losing sucks. Don't let anybody tell you any difference. There has nothing ever been truer or said.
And there was trainer Ron Burke and his entire family and their operation taking a look at 16,366 wins. And you heard some of his numbers towards the tail end of that great feature that we just had, that when you're talking about 6,000 starters in a year, you're talking about 50 or 60 a day on a given weekend. I mean, these are some big numbers, and it takes a lot to run the barn, but the Burke family, they've really got it together, and obviously the performances do show.
Yeah, the whole team, needs credit for that. And Virgil Morgan, who was second, is no slouch, man. He's been the perennial leading trainer around his parts for probably the better of 3 decades at this point, and he's not even in the ballpark of where Ron Burke is. And it's funny when Ron says in there, what his coach said about losing, sucking. And all you have to think about is when, Luprint lost, and he lost to Sippin' on C-Rock, who is, another Ron Burke horse, and Ron just felt like crap because Luprint lost. He felt so bad because Luprint's one of his favorites, even though his other horse won. So believe me, there's definitely, some mixed emotions when that happens for sure. But definitely a top-notch operation, and you're going to need that, when you have that amount of volume of horses and starters all around.
Yeah, you talk about not sure how he's going to feel when one of his horses beats the other horses. Well, we just saw that actually when we saw Luadepa, who has been his star throughout the season at 1-9, a very short price favorite at 2 years old. She's a bulldog, the stablemate there, trained by Ron Burke. pulls off the upset.
What's impressive for me is not only was this horse a maiden that won the race from the Burke barn, and Ron had said that he had high hopes for her anyway and thought that she was going to be something, especially early on. But the fact that she was able to steamroll and keep that first over move going and was able to power away in some regards from Luadepa and then continue that to the wire, very strong effort in that spot. You cannot take it away from her. And it may not have just been Luadepa's night. We'll find out. I'm sure that that question will be asked as to what happened both to Ronnie Wren and Ron Burke, and we'll see what the answer is when we read all about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, and we've talked about it throughout the year. It's the end of this 2-year-old season, so we'll see if these are stamps to make themselves known into their 3-year-old season, or if it's just this one performance here this one time, kind of an outlier. We're going to find out plenty more. Hey, there's that guy Ron Burke again, the sports leading trainer, and with Lexus Cody. Lexus Cody seeking another Grade 1. Will we see that Grade 1 type performance? You got to come on back to find out here on FS2. It's America's Day at the Races.
Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program in Oxford, New York was created in 2018 by Wanda Palacini to provide training to transition for finding homes and new careers for horses. Horses are started with groundwork and then ridden in an arena before moving on. Horses at Purple Haze are then evaluated and adopted out based on abilities and temperament. If you have a horse that you care about, or if you're looking for a great pleasure horse, contact Purple Haze Standardbred Adoption Program at 518-669-2715.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Champions are made on the racetrack, but many of them are born, raised, and developed at farms right here in New Jersey. New Jersey is home to nearly 100,000 acres devoted to the horse industry, and harness racing's breeding and training facilities play a vital role in protecting open space and supporting agriculture throughout the Garden State. With the state's ongoing recognition of the importance and value of the standardbred industry, New Jersey will remain a place where champions are made. To learn more, visit SBOANJ.com.
Ever dreamed of owning a racehorse? Well, now you can for free. Introducing freeracehorse.com, where you get a real share in a real racehorse at no cost. Be part of the action. Get VIP access to training, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and experience the thrill of the race like never before. Sign up now at freeracehorse.com and claim your free ownership share today. Don't just watch the race. Own it.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races here on FS2. East Rutherford, New Jersey is where all the great pacing and trotting action is happening. We are in our New York studio with the great aqueduct right behind us as we get into race number 10, Open Trot Championship, $350,000. Another nice field, full field of 10 getting set to go in tonight's 1-mile trot. You got a big purse once again, a Grade 1. And some familiar names. Paul Verderosa, you're sitting next to me. You're analyzing all these races. What do you think of this Breeders' Crown Open Trot? Because this is going to kind of give us some clues, because a lot of contenders coming out of this same race.
So, yeah, 7 of them actually are coming back in this spot. So French Wine is a horse to me that always gets like the perfect drive and perfect trip to Jason Bartlett. It usually just becomes a matter of whether this horse is going to finish up, and be able to trot home, strong. And he did just that, with the Breeders' Crown win that we're seeing here. So spotted a little wider tonight. We'll see what kind of trip he's going to pull. Lexus Cody, I mean, what else can you say? It's been a breakout year for him, and I can't hold the Breeders' Crown final against him, because he had to take that first over route with long shots in front of him. And Periculum looked like a big threat, turning for home in that spot. So he had a perfect trip in that spot. He just couldn't get to French Wine late, but I think he's going to turn the tables tonight. And that's what it's all about when this group gets together, It's about who's in form and who works out the best trip, and I'm hoping Periculum is that horse to make amends tonight. We know what Periculum's all about, having seen him so many times. You give him, enough speed in front of him to chase, and he's going to trot home strong and pick them up late.
Yeah, and I feel like we've talked about the stars of the sport and the 2-year-olds and some of these young, exciting prospects as they continue to get older and we start to see them really progress. But these are the types of horses that are there. These are the ones that we thought and we saw when they were younger, and now they've developed, and now we see them at 6 and 7, and they are still doing their thing.
Sure, and all of these horses, they know. when it's go time. You don't need to tell them, you don't need to put them, in a spot where they don't want to be. They tell you, where they want to go, when it comes to their style of racing on track. So, for horses like this, it's all about what you're going to see in front and how much they're going to mix it up, and that's what's going to set it up for a horse like Periculum or a horse like French Wine, who just happens to be in the right spot at the right time a lot of times with that perfect drive or that, placement that he puts himself in all the time.
And I don't want to use the word bias, but I want to say a trend right now that we have seen, at least in the set of races that we've watched on this show, is that I think the inside draws are just having some real advantages tonight. I mean, I think you can kind of take a look at it, and we've had, some from the 6 hole and things like that, but some of our far outside pacers and trotters, they just haven't shown up, whether it's just a performance and they haven't been at their best, or whether maybe the inside draws are a little better on the night.
It depends. I guess it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, the way to look at it. But again, I think it all goes back to how much effort did your last race take out of you? How much effort are you having to get to where you need to be in the first quarter in the half mile? I think matters more sometimes than the post position. I mean, again, it's hard for me to kind of take a look at it, especially with some of these horses like this, because they easily beat up on each other all the time. They easily will win one, then finish second, finish third. They'll win 3, they'll finish second. So, they're just old pros. And that's the great thing, that they're still racing.
Let's go back and take a look at one of those old pros and one of those performances that we saw earlier in the season. Of course, we're talking about Lexus Cody. We're talking about that Yonkers International.
Well, used his speed there and from the pole position to get the job done in this spot. But I think the most important thing for this Ron Burke trained horse is just what he's accomplished at 7. Being 10 for 20 this year, over $1 million in the bank. And he's raced well no matter what the race or the situation this year, with the lone exception being in the Cashman. So for me, I think he's a special kind of guy at the age of 7, and to be able to still do this and to be able to be at your peak now, at this age, I think is just something that trainer Ron Burke deserves credit for.
I mean, we can't get into Ron Burke's mind, but how forward do you think he wants Lexus Cody tonight?
I would think as long as that you'll see what Up Your Deo does on the inside, and maybe a little bit of Hill Exotic as well, but I don't think he's going to be that far off. And if the lead is there to take, I'll probably take it.
All right, we're going to find out what's going to happen. It's a grade 1. It's $350,000. It's a 1-mile trot. We talked about some of the inside draws versus those outside draws, but how about Dexter Dunn? I mean, we talked about top driver of the year, and we had our final 4 a little bit earlier, but Dexter Dunn is kind of saying, hey, don't forget about me. I'm right here, and he's having a really strong night.
Yeah, listen, Dexter Dunn doing Dexter Dunn things, and he'll be on Kronos here for Marcos Melander in here, and second in the L-Reg last time out for this horse. Periculum just lasted for him over there, so nipped him late on the line. So listen, again, for a horse like this and a driver like Dexter, Dex knows him very well, so we'll see where he puts him early on. He's going to be a horse that's going to probably come from off the pace in this spot, though, I would think. Not too far out of it, but a couple lanes out for sure.
And you were also talking about what have you done for me lately. We talked about that with the voters for Horse of the Year and whatnot. French Wine comes off of a victory. It's Jason Bartlett, and right now sitting at 9-1. I mean, the bettors completely dismissing French Wine right now.
Yeah, which, that seems to be the trend. For this horse. And he always just seems to be in the right spot at the right time, like he was in the Breeders' Crown, and usually gets dismissed in the wagering as well. So Jason Bartlett fits him well. He's been giving him good trips in every drive since he's taken over for him. So I would expect nothing less in this spot. So maybe they're scared a little bit of the draw and him having to come from off the pace. But I'm telling you, with a horse like him, 9-1's not a bad price at all.
I think tactically, I mean, taking a look at some of the drives that we have seen, Gabe Pruitt was talking about it a little bit earlier too, is that they kind of send a little bit and then they get some position, but then no messing around. We kind of saw it in the last race too. I felt like when I said they threw the gloves off, it's just kind of like, okay, enough is enough. We're all going for it. It's big purse money tonight. Just go for it. Don't sit back. Don't wait. Just go.
We talk about it a lot on the thoroughbred side, intense everything. And, I think your best way to win sometimes is if you have a forward horse, just go. I mean, why are you going to take the horse out of its comfort zone, in order to try and have a different result or to try and learn something? These are the races you don't want to learn something, or try something new with your horse if you don't have to.
The horses are now on the track. I hear a bugle, and I just jump right
into it. You went right into your track announcer mode. I love that.
Talk about the one.
That was great. August Fonstead will drive and train this horse here. Finished third in an invitation at Yonkers. Dead heated in that spot.
And the 2 is going to be Logan Park at 5-1.
That was a nice effort last time up at Woodbine Mohawk for this horse. And Douglas McNair comes down to drive.
Hill Exotic 44-1.
Goes out for Todd Luther, and Austin Hanners was 8th beaten 4.5 last time in the Breeders' Crown.
Money man right now, 8-5, Periculum.
He has a great year, man. Cutler, Crawford, Cashman, Caesar, a lot of the C races he's won.
Security protected here, 30-1, the 5.
1 for 15, he's got a lot of work to do, usually comes from well out of it.
Yannick Gingras, Lexus Cody, Ron Burke, 2-1.
Yeah, fair enough price on this horse. Was third last time out, but again, had a tougher trip in that Breeders' Crown.
Dexter Dunn, he's had a nice night. Will it continue? He's 7-1 on the 7.
This Kronos has had an okay year. 6 wins out of 13 starts, almost $300,000 in the bank.
Big barn, Nancy Tactor. You get your top driver possibly of the year, and you're going to get French Wine at 9-1.
Yeah, came over to the Nancy Tactor barn earlier this year, and she's done well with this horse. So got the win in the Breeders' Crown, obviously.
And here is the 9, 60-1 right now on Get a Wish.
Yeah, another Svanstedt horse in here, drawn wide. Was third last time in the non-winners of 15,000.
And far outside, 55-1. Take all comers.
He's going to try and do that from the outside. We'll see if he's going to leave with any speed, although his last few starts at Yonkers, they were so-so. Even last time, the win, he kind of had to work for it to get the job done there.
All right, the 4 Periculum is 8-5. Lexus Cody is 2-1. Gabe Pruitt, Jessica Otten, what say you there? Trackside, race 10. It's a big one. It's a grade 1.
It definitely is, and it's going to be a good one, in my opinion, Gabe. We've got horses continuing to race well and peaking at the right time, including French Wine, the 8. He's 9-1 on the board right now. We'll get to him in just a second. Your top choice in here is the 2. Lexus Cody. Now, he's coming off a very strong win, Logan Park. He's coming off a very strong win in an open at Woodbine Mohawk Park from well off the pace, but he's had a bit of a lull there before that win.
You know what, though, Jess? He's had post 8 2 starts in a row. He had post 10 prior to that. And as we know, post is a major factor in the sport of harness racing. You want to be in a slot where you can get involved in the early stages. Typically, that's going to, pay dividends along the way. This is his 100th career start tonight. The 2 Logan Park does come off that winning effort. How about this resume? 43 wins over the 99 race career so far. Speaking of the depth of this field, with the championship final here, 350,000 on the line, this field of 10 has combined for 225 wins. That's just an amazing stat, I think. Speaks to the remarkable resumes in here. Over $13.7 million in combined earnings from these 10 trotters.
Yeah, he was the 11-1 upset in last year's championship race as well. He gets a good post to work with. We'll see if he can continue to go in the right direction. You also like the 6 in here, Lexus Cody, as do I. Tough trip in that Breeders' Crown final, Gabe. But he still raced well. He was a 3rd-place finisher behind French Wine and Periculum. What a season he's had this year. $1.1 million in the bank. 10 wins from 20 starts. He's 7. And I think I said this earlier. I think if there was an MVP award, it would go to him, just from the progression he's had over the last several months.
Yeah, and it's really incredible the price right now, too, Jess. I mean, this is 2-1. This is a horse I thought was going to be a significant favorite here. I'd still wager a lot that he is going to end up as the favorite there. As Periculum has the slight nod now, 9-5. But I'm shocked he's 2-1. He was odds on at the Breeders' Crown. Yes, he did get defeated, but he finished a very good 3rd, despite a tough trip. He was on the outside. He was not drafting along with horses. He was sort of uncovered. So, that's sort of a two-pronged, difficulty there, because obviously when you're on the outside in the sport of harness racing, you're traveling a further distance, and then when you're not drafting behind horses, that makes things even tougher. But despite all of that against him, still a good, solid 3rd. As you said, it's been a light bulb on season for him. Over $1.1 million in 2025 alone for the 7-year-old. I thought he would be in the even money range. I'm just a little bit shocked now, 2-1. I think that's a bargain if you're in the camp of Lexus Cody.
Periculum, that's the favorite. 9-5 on him right now. He's had a pretty nice season. 5 wins from 10 starts, 4 second-place finishes. He was a neck loss in that Breeders' Crown final. Marcus Melander alluded to earlier. He's much better in big races like this when he can have a start under his belt. That's why he opted to qualify him last week. Very, very nice qualifier there. 52-2, 27-1 at the end of it. He's been lightly raced so far this season. 10 starts for him, and he's continuing to stay fresh.
He's been well managed throughout his career by trainer Marcus Melander. Just 60 starts. I know that sounds like a good amount. But for a 6-year-old in this sport, not that many. I mean, that's pretty light resume. He's made the most of it, though. He's been first or second 28 of those 60 starts, bet over $750,000 this year. His preferred method, Jesse, he likes to sit, stalk, and pounce at the late stages. I think he's got a perfect post to utilize those tactics here tonight. Starting from post number 4, you see him right now as the co-favorite.
French Wine is the Breeders' Crown champ. My only issue with him, Gabe, is, he had a little bit of issues there with Jason Bartlett not being able to let him go the last, we'll say 16th or 8th of a mile. He was able to do that in the Breeders' Crown final. He's had some time off since then. He hasn't raced, hasn't qualified. He's got post 8, so there's a couple things maybe going against him, but he's one that's been sharp, especially since entering the Nancy Tractor Barn.
That's the key to it. I mean, I think this horse has had, let's call it a resurgence since moving to treader Nancy Tractor. She has not missed the board in 4 starts. Breeders' Crown Championship win there last out. Post 8 tonight. Now, he's going to have to try and navigate some tricky terrain, I think, from that tough starting slot. But you're getting a good number on him, 7-1. I mean, he won the Breeders' Crown. He was only 5-1 that night. So even off a Breeders' Crown victory, the championship race of the season, you're getting a little better number, at least here at the moment so far, heading in to this championship final.
We'll send it back to the desk in New York for final thoughts for this Open Trot Championship race.
Great field on hand here. $13.7 million in earnings combined. That's Gabe Pruitt type money right there. Paul Verderosa, final thought here before we start race 10.
I'm going to go Periculum. Look for him late in the mile.
All right, Ken Workington. It's a grade 1. It's the Open Trot, $350,000. Let's see who it'll be. Maybe Lexus Cody, maybe Ron Burke, maybe somebody else. It's post time at the Meadowlands.
And they're off and trotting. French Wine left hard from the outside with 8 Toes Kronos, and Lexus Cody guns out as well. Hill Exotic from the inside showing up on the inside. Up Your Deo into the top 5 around the first turn. Logan Park is 6th. And up in the round that one comes French Wine going up very quickly. So Logan Park settles in 6th on the inside, followed by Periculum 7th then trying to gain. Then it's Security protected at the rear of the field with Get a Wish DK and Take All Comers. Atos Kronos Dexter Dunn at the quarter 27-1, and Lexus Cody with a brush to the top. Lexus Cody takes the lead. 8 Toes Kronos now trotting in 2nd. Hill Exotic on the inside 3rd. Uncovered French Wine gains from 4th. That's Up Your Deo on the inside 5th as they get set to pass the half. Periculum on the outside 6th. And then comes Logan Park buried near the back of the pack with Security protected, and Get a Wish JK and Take All Comers. Lexus Cody took them past the half in a rated 55 and 2, 28-1. It's Lexus Cody, and French Wine is first over in a grind. Now 2nd on the outside to challenge and apply some pressure. 8 Toes Kronos on the inside. Periculum is setting up his rally from 2nd over 4th. Hill Exotic with no racing room on the inside 5th. Shuffled back was Up Your Deo on the inside 6th as they turn home. Security protected to the outside 3rd over. 1:23 and 3 end of the stretch of the FanDuel final. And it's Lexus Cody who scoots off by 2, now 3. Lexus Cody, Periculum on the outside, full out. So is on the inside 8 Toes Kronos in deep stretch. Lexus Cody and Yannick Gingras with a grand slam. Lexus Cody locks it down in the FanDuel Championship. Then Periculum, then Logan Park, and Up Your Deo in 1:51.
Third place finish last time, but Yannick Gingras, Ron Burke, they're going to team up, and Lexus Cody, this is more what we've been seeing throughout the season, gets the victory and does it impressively. Gabe Pruitt, Lexus Cody takes down this grade 1.
Yeah, and just makes the top there, guys. And the fraction's not overly taxing for this type of level. Got at the half-mile mark there, 55 and 2. Really never took much pressure while on the lead. So I think just, a different type trip tonight that Lexus Cody that he had in the Breeders' Crown. How about this overlay? You rarely get one on the combination of trader Ron Burke and Yannick Gingras. 2-1 off as the second choice. Again, this is a horse that has now won 11 times in 21 starts this season. With this big pot tonight, he's going to go well over $1.3 million on the year. And again, just a horse that you just can't leave alone in the front end like that. I'm sure even Yannick had to be a bit surprised that he didn't take on much of a challenge when he made the lead here. You see an open length win. Nice score, nice rebound effort after his narrow defeat in the Breeders' Crown for Lexus Cody.
Lexus Cody finishing first curriculum, rounding out that exacta, the top two choices there back and forth, and Lexus Cody gets the job done, Paul.
Yeah, once he got that internal half of 56-2 from the half to the 3/4, and it was all over. It was basically all over. Just a very easy score. Curriculum had too much to do. The plugs got popped early in the mile, and he ran on to be second, and that's what trotted on in the stretch.
Yannick Gingras with a triumphant just wave there of the crop as he gets him across the wire. Lexus Cody right back to the winner's circle. Come on back. We got plenty more on America's Day at the Races.
Whether you maintain a food plot on the weekends, tend to a small herd of livestock, or work in professional landscaping, New Holland's family of Workmaster and Boomer compact tractors at Clinton Tractor can get the job done. Known for delivering outstanding value for their performance, these reliable, powerful, and easy to operate New Holland compact tractors will help you tackle your to-do list while being easy on your wallet.
We are the leader in service, Clinton Tractor.
ClintonTractor.net.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, and a great shot there of Lexus Cody and a triumphant Yannick Gingras. He knows that he's got it well in hand, and they get the big victory there here on for the Fox Sports app as we take a look at Lexus Cody with that win, and Jessica Otten with the winning driver.
Lexus Cody captures the championship here, 150 flat. Yannick Gingras, his regular pilot. How proud are you of this horse in the season he's had?
I really am. You know, I mean, he's come leaps and bounds from the beginning of the year to today. Credits to JoJo, the Burke Brigade. You know what I mean? They really did a great job with him. I mean, obviously, credit to the horse. He's a super animal. I mean, he finally matured, but they did a tremendous job.
7 years old, $1.2 million now in the bank, 11 wins from 21 starts. He was a really nice preferred horse. Now he's jumped up and beat the best of the best in the game here. Talk about that trip tonight, because he looks strong throughout the way.
Yeah, he's the best horse, and I think he's the best trotter in the country. But the trip worked out fine, and I was happy with that, being able to take control of the race. And in the last turn, he was a little bit lazy, so I wasn't sure if it was a good or a bad thing. But I'm proud of him, and I want to give a shout out to the Burke Brigade. You know what a year they've had. I was a little pressure on this one. I figured that if we can get this one done, he probably have a really, really great chance at $30 million. And what a season he's had, and I'm proud to be his guy.
Nice job.
Thank you so much.
There you have it. Lexus Cody, Ron Burke, Yannick Gingras, Hall of Fame duo. They're going to team up here in the Open Trot Championship 151 with Lexus Cody. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Jessica Otten, talking to the connections there. Yannick Gingras really speaking highly of the Burke Brigade and Ron Burke, and they continue their winning ways.
Yeah, and I think a lot of credit goes to the horse himself, too, because honestly, he was traveling everywhere, this season. And, we had thought maybe at one point the miles were going to catch up to him, and, maybe they did a little bit in the Breeders' Crown, but Tripp played into that. But he came right back here, and he won tonight, and he did it in fine fashion.
And Gabe Pruitt, shocked at the price, and are you a little bit too, Paul? 2-1 floating up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Curriculum ended up going off as the favorite in that spot, but maybe there were some, doubters about Lexus Cody off the Breeders' Crown race, but 2-1's a nice price on him.
6-4-2, your order finished there in race number 10. It was Lexus Cody. The Valley Victory is coming up 1 mile. It's a trot. It's the 11th race here on our program. $421,000 is the purse, and we're taking a look at a field of 9 here, and we start looking at some of these 2-year-olds in here that have a big shot, but this is a big trot here for the Colts and Gelding.
Yeah, and arguably Spencer Hanover on the outside with Jason Bartlett's going to be the horse to beat in here coming off the Breeders' Crown win. But we'll see if he can pair it up now in this spot. There's some hungry horses in this spot that want to get some good money.
Yeah, we've seen some definite races here where we haven't seen those short price favorites get the job done, and we've seen some maybe contenders for 2026 stamping themselves as names to remember going into next season. Chris Griffin, Paul Verderosa having a great time here on the set as we get set for one more. And we've got these 2-year-olds as we're really going to get our last chance to see who's going to be that top contender going into 2026 for $400,000 nonetheless. So,
without a doubt. I mean, you want to see what you have going into a little bit of a break for them, and that's always fun, going from 2 to 3. Who can play catch up next year to those who are good as a 2-year-old?
Yeah, ending the year with 400-something thousand.
Oh, yeah.
That wouldn't be the bad way to end the year. Hey, we're going to be headed over to the app, and we're going to be right back. No, we're coming over to FS2. Come on back. We're all over the place. It's great. Welcome to America's Day at the Races here on FS2. Happy to be back here. And we are looking forward to one more race here on the program. It's Chris Griffin joined by Paul Verderosa. And we've got some great action throughout the night already, but we've got a great one coming up. A grade one, of course. And we talk about $421,000 here on FS2 for the great viewers, the audience out there. And it's a really nice field lined up.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing if the number 8 Spencer Hanover can run it back off the Breeders' Crown win. That he comes out of it here, but there's some decent horses in here. Hey, there's that guy Ron Burke again. He's got the number 5 in AI, and you cannot count out the number 6 Diabolic Hill either, going out for Annie Stobie.
All right, Diabolic Hill, you talked about the number 6. Annie Stobie is the trainer, and we got a chance to catch up with her before tonight's races.
Thanks, guys. I have trainer Annie Stobie, who's having one heck of a season. First and foremost, Annie, we're standing by your 2-year-old colt, Diabolic Hill. Before we talk about him as an individual, let's talk a little bit about him and what's going on, because I know you have a clothing line after him. Talk to me a little bit about that and where people can find that.
So I partnered with my friend. We came up with a really cool logo, and we've kind of just branched out. He has some T-shirts and hats. And you can find all of those on my Shopify store. It's connected on my Facebook and Instagram.
You've really taken over social media this year with your stable, and it's grown quite a bit, I will say that. Maybe just allude to how that's been going this year.
It was just a jump I took this spring, summer, and I was like, I'm going to try to bring new people into the industry, and I've poured my heart and soul into my Facebook, and I think people just see the true everyday life that we live as trainers, and it gives them an inside view.
It is good to get that inside view, the behind the scenes that people know what goes on day in and day out. Now let's talk about this guy. He's had one heck of a 2-year-old season, maybe a little bit of a bump in the road there in the middle part of the season, but he's been going for quite some time now, and he's been strong every step of the way.
Yeah, I'm very specific when I plan out a schedule for the year, and to have a horse that qualified the first week in June and be strong the second week in November takes a lot of patience, a lot of breaks throughout the season, and just keeping him healthy and strong.
He was second in that Breeders' Crown final, almost got there, but he put up a heck of a race. Don't get me wrong there, as he's talking to us a little bit there. What's his week's been like leading up into this race tonight?
He got a little bit of break after coming back from Canada, and we've just been training like normal, and he's definitely ready to race again.
Wish you the best of luck.
All right, thanks, Jess.
There you have it. Annie Stobie and Diabolic Hill in the Valley Victory. Back to you guys.
Great to see you there. Thank you very much, Jessica Otten. There is the horse. They've got the apparel. They're all dressed up. Let's see if they get the money. The Valley Victory, it's next. Come on back here on FS2.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest price horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race from every track on every screen every day. Monthly packages starting as low as $5 per month. RTN gives you great value and access to more HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit rtn.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races here on FS2, and a gorgeous shot there of the Meadowlands where we've seen some tremendous pacing and trotting action throughout the evening. And we just saw Lexus Cody with a big trotting performance, and we've seen some big performances throughout the year. You know that on a night like this, when we talked about the championships, and there's been a Final Four, so we've been talking about the Final Four and who's been some of our top performers, but Emoticon Legacy, Lexus Cody, Yo Tilly, and Conversano. You talk about that Breeders' Crown, the 3-year-old filly Trot. Yo Tilly really stands out on that list.
Yeah, she's so cool, right? She's so handy, and she got really good this year, too. She grew up, and it was a dream season for her, especially when you consider that most people will tell you it's really dang hard to keep 3-year-old filly trotters going at a high level all season long, you know, because they can be a little temperamental at times. Fillies can, for sure, and she's just a cool horse that keeps digging in every effort. And she's been able to just run and trot well and just be able to put away all of these horses that she's been facing. And really good season for her and a good story.
There is Yo Tilly, 11 for 12 for her career. That one blemish, that one second place finish, but a tremendous trotter in Yo Tilly. And we can't just hear from Paul Verderosa. He likes Yo Tilly, but there were 3 others on that Final Four. And of course, we've got Jessica Otten, Gabe Pruitt. Your thoughts here on the top trotting performer of the year.
Big fan of Yo Tilly. I've called her Queen Tilly throughout her 3-year-old season. We're going to see her back next year for her 4-year-old season, Gabe. But we saw that Breeders' Crown final from her. But like they alluded to, there's 3 others on that Final Four list, you could say. What about Lexus Cody and the performance he just put up here tonight?
Wow, you know, that was incredible. He's been sharp all season to get a breakout this season here at the age of 7. Jess, over $1.9 million now with that win tonight.
Yeah, here's Lexus Cody back in the Dayton Derby. He was sitting last there right before you see him tip 5-6 wide in the stretch. He wouldn't have been able to do that in the beginning of this season.
This was in the midst of a 5-race win streak, and you'd think, oh my goodness, he's 3-5 here. He gets away at a tough spot, just shuffled all the way to last. Hold the phone. Here's Lexus Cody from way downtown. He's going to rally past to win it. Just another incredible performance. It really shows a lot of his versatility as well. We had, saw a lot of those wins just where he had been the aggressor. That one, well, it just didn't work out. He couldn't get out there until very late. It made no difference.
No, it definitely didn't. I think everybody was driving against him in that race. That was my MVP award race right there at that Dayton Derby. That was for the older ranks. What about those 3-year-old trotting colts? They've kind of handed off the baton throughout their 3-year-old season, but Emoticon Legacy. Here's the Kentucky Futurity What an effort he put in here, Gabe. That first half the mile where he's parked from post 10, and he never let anybody get by.
Now, this, to me, Jess, again, in a season where we've seen, the 3-year-olds trade punches, as you said, this is probably the one performance that really stands out. We talked on this show tonight how tricky things can be when you have an outside post. Emoticon Legacy, just a full send mission here. He made the lead. We didn't see that first half, though, but he was used very hard. But he stood it. He lived to tell about it here in the late stages. Ultimately going to fend off Maryland and Super Chapter there. Gutsy win there from post number 10. I just thought that was an incredible performance there in the Kentucky Futurity. Of course, third leg of Trotting's Triple Crown.
Yeah, definitely was. Not easy to win from post 10 anywhere, but also to fend off two of the other top trotters in the game as well, the Marcus Meadowlands charges. It's going to be interesting when it comes down to the vote for the 3-year-old trotting colt. I think it's going to go a couple of different ways. Guys, what do you think?
Oh, definitely can go a few different ways, and I don't have a vote, but some of those names really stand out.
Yeah, of course they do. And to Norway is a horse that we should mention who's won 21 races in a row for Ron Burke as well. Has been trotting up a storm out in the Midwest. So when you win 21 in a row, you're doing something right. He should get a vote for something.
So much to cover. Post-parade time, number 1 is going to be Nick Snacken.
Yeah, 6th coming out of that Breeders' Crown race. Dexter Dunn in the bike here. And we'll see if we can get a better trip from an inside draw tonight.
I really think Dexter Dunn has just done a nice job. He's trying to take control of all the races, it seems like. He wants to absolutely be a factor with his charge. So Dublin Hanover is the 2 at 13-1.
Not a bad season for Dublin Hanover. Took down a $300,000 pass final out in Pennsylvania earlier this year.
All right, there is the 3, Jim Beam.
Line him up. It's Friday night.
Not for me. No?
Not a Jim Beam guy?
A little bit.
Okay.
Here's the 4 American Power.
Did get a win last time out in the Standardbred Development Fund race over at the Meadowlands, 3/4 of a length victor there.
7-2 here on the 5. Yannick Gingras looking for another one.
A solid work for Ron Burke across New York State this year in the Sire Stakes. I wouldn't discount anything from his barn, but I think he's going to have to run a little bit better tonight.
All right, taking a look at the 6 right now. They were Diabolic Hill.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think he's solid as they come tonight. I mean, he's going to be tough.
7 at 10-1.
He's not a bad horse for Noel Daly. 5 for 11 this year. Did get a kindergarten win at a huge number last time.
There is Spencer Hanover. Jason Bartlett looking for one here at 2-1.
Arguably the best horse in the race. I think the hobbles made a difference for this horse, and we'll see if we can get another trip.
Whoa, getting pretty.
That's not what you like to see in the post parade, but now you got him settled down. You don't want to see a horse on the gallop there in a trotting race for sure.
Talk about the 9.
Yeah, 4 for 7 this year. Certainly can have some upside for Sponstead, but we'll see what we get now.
Give me a top choice. Who do you like?
I am going to go with Spencer Hanover at the end of the day, the number 8 in this spot. So I think arguably he's the best horse in the race. We'll see what trip he pulls. And he's just been a different horse since the hobbles.
No Jim Beam for you. You were so excited.
Maybe later after the show.
Jessica Ott and Gabe Pruitt, your thoughts here on this upcoming 11th?
Well, it's going to be a good one, that's for sure. And the money's spread out a bit here, Gabe. We've got Lukewarm 2-1 favorite on Diabolic Hill, 2-1 on Spencer Hanover as well. That's the Breeders' Crown champ. That's your top choice in here. Marcus Meadowlands, unfortunately, with another outside post. This one's riding a 3-race win streak. They added the trotting hobbles 4 starts ago. And he's really turned the corner the last couple of months.
And that's the key thing, Jess. You see those, what we allude to on the trotting hobbles, you see them around his front legs there. And, a lot of trotters don't wear hobbles. I mean, all pacers do for the most part in the sport. But sometimes they can help a trotter stay on stride, sort of keep their confidence, I think, in maintaining their stride. And this was an equipment change that was made back in early October. The 8 Spencer Hanover, he was racing free-legged. His 8 of the starters who are in this race, just one other were wearing the hobbles. That's the 5 AI. But when they added those trotting hobbles, this guy just missed a neck at the first start, finished second. Since then, it's been lights out, party over. 3 wins in a row. He won the Breeders' Crown final there up at the Woodbine Mohawk Park. He fended off the 6 in their Diabolic Hill. It was quite the stretch battle, and the 8 Spencer Hanover had to survive an inquiry.
Yeah.
I took a long look at him because he actually did drift out a little bit down the stretch towards Diabolic Hill. I think the judges ultimately made the right decision there. I don't think it was going to change the result whatsoever. I don't think Diabolic Hill was ever going by the 8 Spencer Hanover that night. The key thing is here, the post position is reversed, though. 6 Diabolic Hill does have that post edge over his rival tonight. Spencer Hanover's going to have to do it from a tricky starting spot, but I do think that is helping the price here. He's holding right now at 2-1.
Another Marcus Melander trainee you like is Nick Snacken. Now, he's going to get the rail to work with. He's also going to pick up Dexter Dunn in the bike. I thought he was very good in that Breeders' Crown elimination, second behind Diabolic Hill. He had a win in the International Stallion as well, but just real no luck in that Breeders' Crown final. I thought maybe he was a bit flat.
He was okay, I'll call it, in that one. And we talk about all the equipment changes, anything we can do here in the sport. But the first time Dexter Dunn, boy, that's quite a nice one as well. Inside post here for Nick Snack, and I think Dex likely going to try and get him away close. His last time he did pick up a win, or should say 2 wins ago. That was in the six-figure New Jersey Classic final. Started from post 1, got away third, tracked there for a long way, and rallied late. I think Dex probably going to try similar tactics here tonight with Nick Snacken. Again, it's his first spin of the bike on this guy, 3-time winner this year. But I thought with a good post, probably this guy's last start of the year, that we'd see them take more of a shot here. And you're getting a decent price on him at 9-1 as well.
And then, of course, Diabolic Hill, he's vying for favoritism. He's 2-1. We'll see if he can bounce back after that loss in the Breeders' Crown final. We'll send it back to the desk for final thoughts before the Valley Victory heads to the gate.
Thank you very much there, Jessica Otten and Gabe Pruitt. Paul Verderosa, we've got the 11th coming up, and it's going to be your last selection of our shows here for the Standardbreds and the Harness for the year. Let's go out a winner. Who do you like?
Oh, I'm a chalk-eating dog, and I'm going to go with Spencer Hanover. I know I've given out quite a few long shots throughout the year, but this one I'm going to take a shot, and hopefully he's going to run it back off the Breeders' Crown effort. And I just think arguably he's the best horse in the race, and he's just been a different horse. Apples on.
All right, we got a field of 9 in here. It's a grade 1. We've seen grade 1s and grade 2s throughout the evening. It's been a tremendous night of racing. It's been a tremendous year of coverage on FS1, FS2, the app, and you, the audience out there. Enjoy this. It's a grade 1 Valley Victory. It's 2-year-olds, Colts and Geldings, and we're heading out to the Meadowlands. One more time here in 2025. It's the Valley Victory and Hall of Fame announcer, Ken Warkentern.
Two-year-olds are off and trotting. American Power and AI away together with Diabolic Hill. And on the inside, Dublin Hanover and Nick Snacken on the rail in there. Let's see, 6 wide around the first turn. Dexter Dunn, Nick Snacken cuts the corner from the rail, gets the lead. Dublin Hanover on the inside second. AI goes up to challenge for the lead quickly with Diabolic Hill fourth and on the move up. And going up is Spencer Hanover, the Breeders' Crown winner. Around that breaker, Jim Beam. Jim Beam broke. Then it's American Power, followed by Twin Bee, Seven Sins, and Nebbiolo. And the breaker and far back and back trotting is Jim Beam. That quarter was 28-3. And Diabolic Hill still trying to clear the lead, does that. But Spencer Hanover pounces on him. Spencer Hanover and Jason Bartlett. They're going to take over before the half. Diabolic Hill back in second. AI is now tracking third. Nick Snacken is fourth. It's Dublin Hanover on the inside fifth, and American Power is sixth, followed by Twin Bees, Seven Sins, and Nebbiolo. And the distant trailer, Jim Beam, that early breaker, 56-3, 28 seconds. 3 hits to go on the final turn. Spencer Hanover at 8-5, stalked by Diabolic Hill at even money. AI is right there, and here comes Nick Snacken, who comes to call, and deuce popping Diabolic Hill and Todd McCarthy. It's Diabolic Hill pouncing on Spencer Hanover. Nick Snacken is right there, and AI needs to shake loose late. American Power fifth. They turn home off 3/4 and 1, 25-3. Diabolic Hill and Todd McCarthy in front. Diabolic Hill trying to finish it off. Spencer Hanover found more. He's fighting back. And Nick Snacken is third on the outside. An epic duel to the wire. Diabolic Hill on the outside. Spencer Hanover on the inside. Diabolic Hill in the Valley Victory. Then Spencer Hanover. Then Nick Snacken. And Nebbiolo was flying late. 153-3.
Hey, if we're going to end the season here with that race, that was a tremendous one to watch. Winner of the Grade 1 Valley Victory, Diabolic Hill, just edging out your top pick in Spencer Hanover.
Yeah, he got a great trip in this race by Todd McCarthy to get the job done over Spencer Hanover, who dug in and fought him gamely to the wire. So that was a great way to end the year, and honestly cannot thank everybody enough for another great year. You know, we always talk about the horsemen and the horses, but it is you guys out there that are the gamblers and the bettors out there, and also everybody in the truck that is awesome and keeps us together and sounding good and looking good.
There you go. We've said plenty from here, from the set. Of course, Gabe Pruitt, Jessica Otten. You know a lot of these connections, and you travel all year long. What say you after the finale and just on how we wrap things up here in 2025?
Well, what a way to end the 2025 season there, Gabe. Diabolic Hill, Spencer Hanover, right to the wire.
It's a heck of a horse race. I mean, two heavyweights, they just dropped the gloves and went at it. Looked like Spencer Hanover was collared completely, tried to come back off the canvas, unable to do so, but just a heck of a horse race here as Diabolic Hill gets it done.
You know, we've traveled all over North America with this crew. What's been a highlight for you throughout the season?
It's been such a fun year. I mean, you could really pinpoint so many different moments. It's always so great to be a part of some of the biggest nights of whatever track are hosting some of these Grand Circuit Stakes events. You think of Lou Print, of course, the Little Brown Jug, Bojangles, the undefeated 2-year-old in the Breeders' Crown. One that really stands out to me, Jess, the disqualification in the Meadowlands pace here. You know, Madden Oaks ended up there. A lot of drama and intrigue. We like drama here on live TV. I thought that was a cool night as well.
Yeah, it was. It's hard to separate any one of those nights. I'd have to say maybe the Little Brown Jug. It's always fun to root for good friends, fellow Michiganders, as I think I've stated once or twice before. And, of course, Braxton Boyd, too, getting placed first in the Meadowlands pace. But we've seen some really awesome performances. Luadepa in the Breeders' Crown, Bojangles in the Breeders' Crown. Well, we've watched Lexus Cody win throughout North America as well. We also got to see a horse by the name of Onda Norway. I think he won 19 in a row on Super Final Night in Indiana.
Yeah, he's been incredible. He's since tacked on 2 more, so 21 in a row. He's on a heck of a run. He hasn't left Indiana, but it was great to have him as part of the show. And, guys, the good news is we get to see a lot of these stars back next year as well. How about Luadepa? She's going to come back. I know the runner-up tonight, Bojangles, undefeated. I'm ready to go. The 2026 season, it can't come soon enough.
Love that there from our guys there at Meadowlands, and Jessica Otten, Gabe Pruitt, Jenna Otten, who has, of course, joined us on many broadcasts as well. So thank you to all the hard work that they've done. And thank you to you, sir. We've had some great selections from you throughout the year, and you've done a tremendous job. And I know you kind of had final words, but anything else you want to get in before the holiday season and we get out of here?
Everybody be safe. Have a great winter, and we'll see you in the spring.
This is a great time for me to thank the connections. Want to thank the entire crew, of course, as everybody has done. Want to thank all the great drivers that we've had time with, all the trainers, and of course you, the viewers and the bettors out there, for getting involved in all the great action. The Standardbred action ends, but the next show is tomorrow, 2 to 4:30. Thoroughbreds are going to be back on the track right here at the Big A, so make sure you join us. America's Day at the Races. And of course, we can't leave without thanking the stars of the show, the horses. We always love them. We follow them. They are our top athletes and performers. Great job, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow for more America's Day at the Races. Thank you for 2025.